Okay. All right. All right. So, can I get a ping from the watchers? Hello, world. Is everything working? I'm just going to assume. All right. I'm Ronald, the rules lawyer. Welcome to a tutorial of me teaching Pathfinder 2nd Edition, my favorite tabletop RPG system, to folks who are have played D&D 5th edition, but also have experience. Some of them have experience with other systems. I'm going to have them introduce themselves in a second. But just on myself, if you've seen my Rules Lawyer rap, you'll see that before I made this channel, I was, in addition to being a lawyer, I was a teacher to middle schoolers. I had an after school program at a middle school in Berkeley, California, that is on hiatus because of COVID, to where I taught middle schoolers first Pathfinder First Edition, then also D&D Fifth Edition, and then in the last couple years Pathfinder Second, where the kids GM, they run the games, and as you can imagine, it's quite a chaotic classroom. But I learned through dozens, over 100 experiences of how to kind of teach RPGs, and I hope to. And I've been trying to bring that to the channel. So over on the subreddit for Pathfinder Second Edition, there's been, I think, the last few months, a growing, almost daily occurrence of posts of people coming from D&D Fifth Edition who want to learn the system, and I could make an edited video to do that, but I think there's a lot of value in going through step by step and being interrupted by people who have questions as we go through the process. I'm gonna turn this into an edited video for my channel later, but for those who want to kind of take a character and also learn the system systematically with fellow other people who have exposure mostly or through D&D 5th edition, you'll find a lot of value in this. So I wanted to do this, and I left a comment in the YouTube chat. People should introduce themselves in the chat, by the way, if you are watching, and say where you're coming from in watching today's stream. But I included links to, well, a link to a character sheet, a physical character sheet that I've asked my players to have today. Some of them will have it, but others not. Pathfinder has the virtue of, because of its open rule set, having free digital tools that have all of the character options available to you. And those are, the most popular ones are Path Builder and Wanderer's Guide, which I recommend. At the same time, I think that for learning the system, having a sit down with someone experienced with the system and going through the experience of filling out a physical sheet and seeing how the modifiers add up, make you learn the system in a way that having a very excellent and convenient tool might walk you through, and you might skip some things you could learn otherwise. We're going to be limited to the core rulebook today, just because there's a huge amount of character customization that you can do already in the core rulebook. This is going to be first of two videos or streams that we'll do. Today we'll be focused on character creation and also shed some assumptions about character creation in the process. And next week, at probably the same time, we will do a short adventure with our new players. So I think I've gone over everything I wanted to. Oh, the other thing is I recommend, highly, 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 highly recommend, in addition to my channel, if you're someone who's new to Pathfinder 2e, no matter what your level of mass familiarity with other tabletop systems is, the beginner box is the best way to learn it. It's highly visual. It teaches you pretty much the full rule set. And I've done a video about the beginner box, and you literally can run the adventure it comes with, if you're the game master, without having read much at all, because it has reference cards for the players, and it teaches you the system as you go. And because Pathfinder, I like it, but there's a learning curve involved um, in learning the rules. But once you learn the rules, they're intuitive, and they are very good tools for having a fun system. So that's my long intro. So I'd like to next ask my players from left to right to introduce themselves, say your name, whatever you'd like about yourself, but include your experience with tabletop role-playing games, and maybe comment on what you like about what you look for in tabletop games or systems, and why you're doing this with me today. So first is Lord Tub Tub, or Tubbs as we'll call him today.
Everybody, my real name is Andrew Garrett. I live in Florida, on the Panhandle in Pensacola. I have a lot of experience. I've been gaming since 1988 when I learned about AD&D in 8th grade. And I've been playing primarily DMing since that point. Across the early 90s was like an explosion of games. You had, Vampire, Changeling, Werewolf, the whole World of Darkness system. You had GURPS and Amber, the Diceless Roleplay system. And just about all of these I have played. Teenagers from Outer Space. Just various games. So I've played a lot of them, and I've primarily DM'd for the 30 some odd years I've been a gamer. What I look for in a game is I want there to be some danger, right? If there's no threat of death in the game, then really we're just sitting around telling stories, and it doesn't feel like a game. So I kind of like a sense of danger where there is a chance to lose. You can usually tell when the DM fudges their rolls against you, because it's like, yeah, this is going to go bad, and then suddenly all the monsters become incompetent. So sometimes it's okay to let your players lose, let them run, let them recuperate, and that makes a better story, in my opinion. Why I'm here? Pathfinder is actually one of the systems I have actually never played. Not first edition, not second edition. I unfortunately was one of those biased people when third edition shut down, and Pathfinder came out, and everybody was like, Pathfinder's so good, and I'm like, no, Dungeons and Dragons. I unfortunately went to 4th edition, which a lot of people disliked it. It did what it was supposed to do well. It didn't know what it wanted to do, was part of my opinion. And then I carried right into 5th edition. And I have actually, in 2019, abandoned 5th edition for a more fiction-first role-playing system known as Dungeon World, which Ron has some videos about that, and I'm in.
On my side channel, we are streaming our campaign.
Yep. And so that's actually why I'm here. I love learning new systems. I love gaming. So I want to do that. And the secondary thing is I want to see Ron as a DM. I've been a player with him. Now I want to see him in action.
Okay. Cool. Great. Thank you. Then next is Brent, also known as We Absteer in our Discord. Oh, and I want to say too, I've met them through my Discord. So this is not necessarily like a sampling, scientific sampling of 5e players. It's people who've already subscribe to my channel but don't actually have not say your level of PF2 experience too, which for Tubbs is none, right? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
You got my username wrong, actually. It's Stabby McStabson.
You are right.
Yeah, I have a few years experience with 5e. Just a couple campaigns. I did one with my friends from school, came home, did a short one with some friends around here, DM'd it. I've always just been interested in like fantasy in general, so being able to like make your own fantasy story is great for me. It's also just fun to hang out and make silly stories with friends. So
cool.
And for Pathfinder 2e, the only experience I really have is I have a little bit with character creation, just looking at Path Builder and being interested in the system, just looking around at Path Builder, and I've never played, I've never seen combat or anything.
All right. Anything positive or negative you are expecting in Pathfinder?
I've heard Pathfinder's a lot more like modular. Like you can create like you can truly create your own character versus D&D where you like, yeah, you have your class and subclass, but you're still kind of set on a path,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
ironically.
Yeah. Or maybe not ironically. It's like because you're finding your path in
Oh
Pathfinder.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not. What would it be called? Path Walker.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next is the real wee absteer. I was mixed up your name. Sorry, but also known as Lem. Go ahead.
Good morning. Most of my friends call me Lem, and I guess I'm one of those tough crowds where most of my experience with tabletop RPGs is on D&D 5e, since that's when it was introduced to me by my friends, and most of my friend group usually plays those until like someone pitched me Reddit that there's another game system called Pathfinder 2e, where a lot of a lot of its focus is more on character customization, and it's something that I want in D&D as well. It's more on character customization and being able to build your own character based on like on your concept alone in your own mind, which is which something that D&D doesn't really have. D&D 5e,
Mm-hmm.
and for I only experienced D&D for like a good 3 to 4 years. Other tabletop RPGs, I don't have any that I can say. So I'm one of those people. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And then lastly is Yuki.
Okay, so hello. I don't really have much experience when it comes to role-playing games or like other tabletop systems. Obviously I've heard of D&D a while back because at some point when you like in the nerd culture, you hear of D&D. But I always thought about it. So it's for people who have no life, or like ironically, right? For basically uninstall, right? Then I got into 5e, which is basically the only system I played. I got into it through Critical Role. I was basically I was the first episode of the first campaign I was sold. I played 5e for the past 3 years in quite a few campaigns, both as a DM and as a player. I'm currently a head dungeon master for a Westmarch server, which I'm not gonna plug. Well, I've heard of Pathfinder first through Owlcats games, through the Wrath of the Righteous and Kingmaker, the CRPGs. And then I was looking for like guides or things related to that game, and Pathfinder Second Edition popped up in my suggested. I was like, oh, okay, sure, let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it. And well, when it comes to my expectation from TUI, actual systems, a system that doesn't basically have rules only for combat and then asks DMs to figure out the rest. And obviously, like people said before, character customization, because in 5e, when you've seen one goblin rogue, you've seen them all. Or one human fighter, especially variant human fighter.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
I think I remember in there were actually other people who wanted to be part of this, but I had to limit it to 4. I remember you had said something about
Oh yes,
optimizing characters.
Yes, that's well, because that's pretty much outside of like storytelling. That's pretty much the only thing you can do in 5e, unless you specifically limit yourself. And given the fact that I come from like competitive games, I usually like to be the best. Obviously, not at the cost of the other players, but like good at. I said a thing that I want to do, and then I do that thing, and I want to do it good. So if I want to deal damage, I want to be dealing lots of damage, the most damage I can.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. All right. All right, what we'll do is go through the process. Let's imagine you are all meeting well, you are all meeting now. But at a session 0, you would talk about what characters you would want to have and classes and cover some mechanical roles. Unless I'm mistaken, in D&D 5e, people usually build something that they for their own reasons, and it could be different reasons, but usually the only thing you worry about in the party is making sure somebody can bring somebody back up from 0 hit points. A healer, basically, because you obviously the less people who are conscious in your party, the much your odds of survival as a group go down. And I also want to add that a lot of people coming from D&D 5th edition decide to start at a higher level to explore the customization of Pathfinder 2e, but also because their experience has been that level 1 is usually a kind of a tutorial period where their character hasn't fully developed as a unique character yet, and levels 1 and 2 are very fast. But that's not true in Pathfinder 2e, and you'll find this advice repeated a lot on the subreddit. Start at level 1, because we'll see you already have the ability to make your character quite unique. And also, especially if you come from another system, I would really emphasize this. You might you want to shed some assumptions about what from other systems, because in Pathfinder 2e you can have no class features at all from your class level, but still be able to do a lot of different things in combat on your turn that are available to all characters. So and you might undervalue them if you are like, well, I already have this feat and that feat and this is my combo. Also, if you are already making your character several levels in advance and you don't even know how kind of combat would work, and in Pathfinder 2 it's more about being a team, then you might make a bunch of choices, put a lot of work up front, have a less than stellar experience, and think that Pathfinder 2e's promise of what you could do with your character is kind of not really there. So anyway, that's my long spiel. So level 1 we'll start with. So what you generally want to do with Pathfinder 2 is first of all, skills are more important, and so you can have a fighter who's actually your primary healer out between combats, at least, because having the medicine skill or some specifics class spells is what is really key in Pathfinder 2, because it's expected they're at full hit points entering into your next combat, and most of that healing is done in the periods of time between combat. But you just want to know what two characters, I'm going to say, are working on that role. And then you also don't want to have all marshals and all casters. We did a whole experiment on my Discord looking. It was on a lark to have marshals compete against casters to see who was more powerful. But the big lesson in the end was that the most powerful thing is the friendship we made along the way. And the marshals and casters needed each other. And you want to not have because they complement each other, and I'm not going to continue jabbing on this. I'll say this more, but in D&D it's possible for the casters to fill the roles of the marshals and be casters as well, but that's not possible here. So that's all I'll say on that. So
About that, I am not sure how it is in 2E, but in 5e, there is the squishy caster fallacy, where casters are actually the tankier than what you would expect to be the tankiest, aka fighters or barbarians.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the balancing between classes is there, and it's something you'll see when it'll emerge as you see it. Okay, so yeah, that's my only advice. Not all marshals and not all casters. Have a couple of people be committed on, to do some in between combat healing, which usually means having a good wisdom for the medicine skill, and in combat healing too, for obvious reasons, having one or two people who could do that, which you could. You don't have to be even the caster to do that. So that's my mechanical overview of party composition. But you should all actually, in talking about what you want to be and who could fill what role, let's go wild and crazy with the concept too, and explore how Pathfinder, of what your character is, so that we can see if Pathfinder can accommodate it. So, who wants to talk? I mean, just go ahead. I'm opening it up.
I'll break the ice. I roll bad, and by saying I roll bad, I mean I have rolled 5 nat 1s in a row. My players laughed at the dragon when I landed the green dragon in front of the paladin and rolled 5 nat 1s in a row. So my goal today is to build a character that never rolls. And this has kind of been my theme for the last few years in gaming. Anytime I play a game, either my character is a caster and everything is the DM rolling saves, or everything is me rolling. And I don't even want to roll healing. Sorry about the light. My wife is letting the dogs out. I don't even want to roll healing. Like, if I heal you, I would rather you roll the healing, because you're actually going to get some healing points at that point. So that is kind of my goal, is to build a character that is that. Now, a lot of people don't like to play the heal bot. I don't mind. So I have no problem playing the cleric today. Now, the cleric I envision in my head is I'd like to play some type of war cleric, not for the sense of like getting up there and hitting things, but for wearing heavier armor, so that I could be next to the fighter, providing, I believe, I don't know if, I mean, 5th edition has like a help action, which usually gives you advantage on like your attack roll. So I could kind of see myself doing that to ensure that the fighter gets better hits. Or to help the rogue, to give the rogue, if it gives the rogue sneak attack damage, stuff like that. And then, of course, I'll be right in the combat. I'll have the heavier armor so I don't get smushed. And then I also kind of see him, I see Duval as, because I've already named him, I kind of see Duval as a, like a crafter, like a guy who would make magic items, making magic weapons and magic armor for the party. That's my concept, and we'll see how close we get, Ron.
Okay, great. And I apologize. I'm just realizing something. I will type my email address on the screen, and I need people to email me their email address so that I can share this with folks. Here it is. Share this Google Doc with folks so that people can actively edit it as we go. So folks, please send an email to me with your email address, and I'm putting that support healing next to you, Tubbs. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
Would it be possible for you to send it in the private chat, because it's barely readable?
Yeah, it's really blurry.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
No. I'm going to make it bigger.
I can see it on the stream here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the problem is that if I can't, all of your cameras on the stream are live streams of my Discord window. So I can't actually look at that without changing everybody.
Oh, there we go. That works right there. Leave it right there for a second.
Okay. All right. So, and on your idea, Tubbs, I don't know. Maybe the character is somebody who is it a he? Duval?
Yes,
Who-
Duval.
who himself is laments about their bad luck all the time, and just thinking about that as a character idea.
That's beautiful. I think that is hilarious, and that's why I can go with that. I like it.
Okay, who else?
Next in line, so I'll go.
No, I don't mean the viewers. I don't need the viewers to email me, just the players, because I need the players to be able to edit the Google Doc.
Yeah, the character I kind of want to play right now is kind of have two ideas. Either like playing like frontline tanks, marshals, kind of like someone who can like taunt the enemy, like keep them from hitting other people. Or I want to play like the tiny guy with a big gun type of aspect, like your like from D&D, like your goblin artificer or whatever, who can literally have a gun. So
Okay, tiny guy with a gun.
tiny guy, big gun.
Tiny guy, big gun. Cool.
I just picture you with like a blunderbuss, and every time you shoot it, you move 5 feet.
Yeah.
5 feet back.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Let's because the second one is a little more unique. Maybe we'll do that, but let's see what other people
All right.
are saying. Lem or Yuki, go ahead.
Do you want to go first, Yuki?
You go first. I will just fill whatever is left in the particle.
If you say so, I guess. Right now, one of the things I want to do once again, because this is actually my first class in D&D. I want to do a barbarian. And let's see.
Reason.
Reason.
Yeah.
I guess it's because I have like very fond memories of my barbarian, and maybe it's a good way to like start a new game system with some with a character that I'm actually familiar with. So a barbarian, maybe this time he would wield like a gigantic spear that he can pierce through the enemies and try to like outmaneuver them with his strength or something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna say something now. If Brent, you're ruling out being a defender character right now from what you're hearing, don't, because a barbarian is not a tank in Pathfinder.
Yeah, I've heard they're different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are.
They're less cannon.
They have great hit points, but their AC's they're more like the Martial glass cannon. They can do a lot of damage, but also they take damage. They attract attention because they do a lot of damage, but you're not given a lot of defense to compensate for that. And so that's kind of the overall idea of it.
Because in D&D, right, barbarians gain like resistances, so that feels very different.
It does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The cool thing is you'll have a great comparison contrast for Ron on this is what I played in 5th Ed and this is how it felt, and you play that same class and you're like, look how different they are. So I think that's a cool idea. I wish I'd have thought of that. I'd be playing a Minotaur fighter right now.
And some of you, even though, and Brent, maybe you do want to play something like similar to what you played before. It's up to you. So for that reason. Yuki, what about you?
Well, we have healing, we have a defender, and we have a frontline fighter, so I guess caster is the only thing that's left.
Okay. All right, you're someone who thinks of the optimization of the party, am I right?
Yeah. Especially since I was told that it is important.
All right.
Since I'm familiar that wizards prepare spells differently than in 5e, as in they prepare each use of a spell. Yeah. So I'm thinking sorcerer.
So you're thinking sorcerer, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 casters really outside of cleric, and I guess druid, but no sorcerer.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably, since we have support and we have healing, probably Blastercaster.
All right.
Goblin Blastercaster, absolutely batshit insane. Using
Goblin
fire
Blaster
and-
Caster. All right. Cool.
That's kind of the tiny guy, big gun idea I had too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you can swap. I can play Defender as well. Like if you'd rather Blastercaster.
I'm fine playing Defender too. One of my favorite characters from D&D was like that Defender type, Tempest Cleric. It was pretty fun.
All right. Now, I also talked about. Okay, normally we could actually go over like who could do the. You know what? I think we would move on to the next step now. However, I have to use the bathroom. Continue talking about whatever you like, including party composition. I'll be right back. Maybe.
So Lem, that's a brilliant idea. I think my next campaign that I do with my group of friends, I'm going to have everybody play their very first character.
If
I
I
like
was
that.
to play that, I would have
My
to find
first-
something that can transform.
What did you play?
I played a Blood Hunter in my first campaign, which apparently it's a very hard class to play, but learn. I have no idea where that comes from. Only thing you really have to care about is your HP.
From the bit I've seen, I think Alchemist might be similar to that, just because you're like making potions. And
Yeah,
farms
I
and stuff.
suppose. Barbarian with the animal instinct, since natural weapons.
Yeah, that was my first character, Minotaur Fighter. I've always loved Minotaurs. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
welcome back.
My
you.
first character.
Thank you for that idea,
was,
Lem.
Sorcerer. Yeah.
Sorcerer.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was able to help.
My second character was a wizard. So I played an AD&D where there was no sorcerer, so there was like wizard.
Oh,
So that was
yeah.
my second character was the caster.
I'll point out something. I missed your conversation, but I'll say this. There are 4 magical traditions. There are basically 4 spell lists in Pathfinder, and there's overlap between those 4. They're called the magical traditions. There's the divine tradition, which is the tradition clerics can access. There's the primal, which is a lot of support, healing, but things themed with life and death and the gods. So you can summon demons with divine magic. Then there's primal tradition, which is usually associated with druids. That is a lot of elemental attacks, as well as strong healing as well. They have the key spell called Heal, along with the divine tradition. Also, animals and nature. And then there's the arcane tradition, which is associated with wizards. A lot of utility, offense, defense, a lot of variety. But no healing. It's the only one that does not really heal. And then occult, which is associated with bards and think of Cthulhu in this game, like cosmic mysteries, haunts, ghosts, mind effects. That involves a lot of debuffing enemies, some healing your allies, but there's a lot of weirdness. Like the spell Vomit Swarm is on that list, if that helps clarify things. And I say all this.
A very fun spell.
Yeah. Sorcerers in Pathfinder 2e have a special bloodline, and your bloodline determines which of those 4 traditions you can cast. So you can be a spontaneous, you can be a sorcerer with a demon bloodline that casts what you'd usually call cleric spells. So sorcerers have that choice. And then that's only the core rulebook. Outside the core rulebook, there's a couple of other classes that can make a choice. Okay, what have I missed in your discussions? And did Brent narrow down what he wanted to do?
I'll stick with a Defender.
Cool.
Just because one of my favorite characters was that type of class. So
Great. So
And all we were talking about was how cool it would be to run a game, which I'm probably going to do next with my group, based off Lem's idea, where everybody remakes their first gaming tabletop character to relive that experience. So,
okay. I didn't get your email, Tubbs. What is it?
did you not? I thought I emailed it to you. I may have typed your email wrong. It's thetubtub@gmail.com. Just change Lord to Tub.
Okay. All right.
Or the, I mean.
The document should be shared with you guys. People should now see if they can open it.
here we are.
Okay, great.
Excellent.
All right. The whole world now knows my email address.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. I think we have an overall idea. Don't want to dwell too much on party comp. Let's move on. So on, my handy little, where we are in the process list has been covered up. There we go. All right. Okay, we were creating a concept. So the now listed on the stream are the 10 steps that are in the core rulebook for making your character. And we kind of have concepts right now. Feel free to also supplement that as, a character concept also. Because you want to start with a plan before you go into the details. Next is we start with ability scores. And the way this works, if you have a physical sheet, and here I'm going to show my preferred character sheet. It's the first link it's the first comment in the YouTube chat. It's called Justin's character sheet. And I just like how this is laid out for teaching purposes. It's nice and clean and simple. And you'll also get to see when you get your feats. I don't think the official sheet is the official sheet's too cluttered. Okay, so what am I saying? Okay, everybody at this stage, everybody would write their character as having a 10 in every ability score. So how would I do that here? I can open my little yellow circle thing. Let me do that. I have a yellow circle thing. Cursor highlighter. Silly. Pardon me. Okay, there we go. All right, so everyone starts with 10s, and your you do not roll dice to determine your ability scores. Everything is determined by the choices you make. And the first step that we're gonna, the first big choice you'll make is your character's ancestry. And as we go through all of these various steps, you'll have the opportunity to put what are called boosts in your ability scores, so that you start to increase it from 10 to 12 or 14 or 16 or 18 as you go. And your ancestry, depending on what you choose, is going to give you some boosts on specific ability scores. And I say all this because with with each of your classes, there is an importance ability score to take into account. And there's this handy table, and my computer is not liking me right now. Hold on. Sorry.
It's alright, take your time.
Here we go. All right. Do you see it? See this table?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now that you've all talked about that, talk about what, as in other systems, you generally want to know what class you want to be before you start with the other steps, even though Ancestry is going to be our first step. So, have people nailed down what class they want yet?
Unless there's a better healer supporter than cleric, I'm gonna go with cleric. I'm not.
Okay.
You guys are better at this, or Ryan, you're the one that's good at this system. So if that's the healer supporter, then that's where I'm going.
Okay. Bards are also quite good at healing and supporting. They get to also inspire their allies and buff them in combat. They have a less effective heal spell, but it's perfectly fine. If you like the idea of inspiring the party, being charismatic, over being a wisdom character who is a religious mission, you should do that.
Nah, this character, he has a mission.
Okay.
I like. If clerics are very similar to clerics in fifth ed, that's the more for the feel of this character I'm going for.
Okay. All right. What? Let's go down the line. What about Brent, Lem, and Yuki? You know what class you want to be?
Probably a champion. I've heard it's like Pathfinder's take on the paladin.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that class has like tank and like crowd control effects and stuff.
Yes, the defender is definitely represented best by the champion. And you know what? I've been wanting to do this. I'm just going to give my overview of the classes because it might be useful for anybody watching. The alchemist engages with the alchemical items system, and it's I wouldn't recommend it to beginners, but basically alchemical items let you prepare things like healing items and buffing items or things that improve your skills or give you utility, and you get to pass them out among the party. And they can also throw bombs, which can target specific energy or damage weaknesses. So if you like the idea of being like really smart and cracking the code, that a lot of people find it challenging to play too. So there's the alchemist. The barbarian does lots of big damage and lots of martial damage, but they're also a little weaker in defense. And they also each get to choose an instinct at level 1, which which is the source of their supernatural power, and they're a little more supernatural than what people might be used to. The dragon instinct, for example, can make you sprout wings at higher levels or transform into a dragon. The giant instinct, at higher levels, you can turn into large or even huge size. They do the biggest damage. The animal instinct lets you turn into an animal of your choice at higher levels, but starting at level 1, you get an aspect, one of their unarmed attacks, including a frog tongue. The bard is, as I described, they inspire their allies. They have the occult spellcasting, which is affecting minds, debuffing enemies, and some healing. The champion is this game's version of the paladin, and they are they have the strongest defenses. They also are about defending their allies. Whenever their ally gets hit or damaged, the champion usually has an immediate reaction to it. That fact usually means, too, that they draw the attention of the enemy. The cleric is healer, buffing, religious themed, healing. The druid is nature themed casting. You can also get feats that let you change your shape. and summon animals. You also get to have an animal companion in Pathfinder 2e as a druid. And animal companions are good. I mean, they're not super weak. Okay, fighters are the most accurate martials. They have the highest attack bonus, and so that means they hit the most and crit the most. And they're about their feats. Their feats let them specialize in certain martial techniques. And at higher levels, you get to change those feats in the morning. Monks are the unarmed fighters. They have very good defense, and they can switch between different stances to enhance their abilities, their unarmed strikes, or defenses or other things that. And their key ability is called Flurry of Blows. You only have 3 actions in this game, and you want to be able to do more things than you usually have the number of actions for. And the monk has the unique ability to do 2 attacks with 1 action. The ranger is a martial character who can fight with melee or ranged weapons, and they are good at hunting a specific prey that they can track very well, but also get combat advantages against in combat. They spend 1 action to hone in on something, and then they're very good at killing it. The rogue has the most skills in the game, which are quite powerful in this system. There are rules for every skill to make it, and you get more skill feats than any other class, and more skill increases. You get to improve your skills in this game as well, beyond level 1, through your voluntary choices. And they're about getting sneak attack damage and being opportunistic. And there are rogues that are focused on dexterity. There are rogues that are focused on strength, called are they called thugs? I want to say thugs. There are those that are focused on
I think
charisma.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Sorcerers are they get their magic from some event in their past or their ancestry. It's inherent to them. They are the spontaneous casters. So they have a very limited number of spells. I think it's 3 at level 1 that are all the spells they can choose from. But they can choose at the time they cast it which of the spells in their spell list they actually fire. Which, imagine 5e casting, but you only have 3 spells that you can choose from. Well, it's the same as the sorcerer in 5e, actually. The wizard is somebody who has a spell book, but at the beginning of the day, they have to predict what spells they're going to need that day. And they prepare them. And if you were playing it in person, when you cast your fireball spell, you cross it off your character sheet, and you cannot cast that spell again because you only thought you were going to need it one time. They're compensated by the fact that they have a spell book that they have more flexibility day to day than sorcerers. They can choose different spells in the morning. So anyway, that's my overview. So Brent, did you okay, you said champion. Is that still your choice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then Lem, what do you want to do?
I think I already established this before. I think I'm going with Barbarian because
Yeah.
the idea of a instinct, supernatural, that is something very different to me. Like dragon instinct, like what you said, you sprout wings.
Yeah.
That is something that is unimaginable in D&D unless you have like a magic item.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and this is one of the ways martials and casters have become more balanced. Martials have, as you get beyond, as starting with level 10, I would say, can do quite legendary mythical things. And then Yuki.
Well, like I said, I'm going to blast the caster, so sorcerer, I would say.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Especially since the known, let's say, spontaneous casting is
Okay.
easier, in my opinion, at least at first.
Okay, people should note what this table says in terms of what your key ability score is and what your secondary ability scores are. And I will add that we're about to go into choosing your ancestry. Let me see. I'm going to say this, Tubbs. You see how the goblin gets a ability flaw in wisdom? That means their score goes down from 10 to 8. When you... I don't know if that's... Anyway, it's where my yellow circle is. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm trusting you because I can't see it.
Okay.
It's blurry.
I'm about to make this point that you can have an 18 in wisdom as a goblin using something called voluntary flaws. I don't want to... I'll explain it, how that works, but people who are new from another system should know that your ancestry does not prevent you from getting an 18 in your key statistic. And this is... and you generally want an 18 in your key statistic if it's your first game, I would say. If it's your main attack stat, let's say. And that's going to be true for these key ability scores generally.
Makes sense.
Okay, another thing before we start on ability boosts is you should know in Pathfinder 2 that if you have a high... if you're a rogue and you have a high dexterity... Well, let me think for you guys. If you see yourself as firing arrows or fighting with a weapon like a dagger or a rapier with your dexterity, you do not get bonus damage from your dexterity. If you want to attack with weapons and do more damage with a dexterity weapon, your strength is what makes you do more damage in Pathfinder. Okay.
But would your hit bonus, your attack bonus, would that still be dexterity?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, in 5th ed terms, for those of us, because that's what we're mostly familiar with, it's basically half precise weapons. You get to use the stat to hit, but it still defaults to strength for damage.
Finesse.
Yeah.
Though you get to attack with dexterity, but you don't add it to damage.
Okay. All right, makes sense.
Okay. All right. So people should start typing in what their stuff is. Choose an ancestry, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Now, ancestry is the equivalent of race.
Yes.
Okay.
And it also leads to
keeping
this
it simple.
handy mnemonic, ABC, for character creation, ancestry, background, and class.
Oh, it's going to soon be equivalence of lineage because they are moving away from race as a concept completely.
Yeah.
They are,
I'm looking at the chat. Flame Lad, we're not going to have a gunslinger. Though it is possible, Brent, for you to get a gun if your GM allows you to get an uncommon item. You can pack heat as well. And we can talk about that when we get to equipment, because it's just considered another martial weapon. And one of the optional books has gun options.
Are we going to play levels 1, or are we during the second session? Are we going to level up to level 2 or something?
We're gonna do level 1 and then maybe. Okay, my original plan was level 1 and then level up at the end. I might be having so much fun though that we extend it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I'm
meet
down.
again for level 2 and see the difference. But we'll talk.
I'm down for that.
I know you're all down, actually.
I,
But I'll just have to see my schedule. But one thing that's really I like about Pathfinder is the definite sense of your leveling up and getting more powerful, and that stays constant through all 20 levels.
I see.
Tubbs, you really have your character planned out already.
Oh, dude. As a DM from 1988, when people are like, make a character, the first thing I do is make a person. Duval is already built in my head. I could tell you 20 minutes about who Duval is, and then
I
then
kind
you
of
guys.
try and do the same thing, but I don't go that in depth at all at first.
Oh no.
I apologize, chat. I see there's some questions coming, and I might not have answered them, but I want to make this a good resource for everybody. There's a question about guns. Guns are considered. They have the martial tag, so all of the martial classes are proficient with all martial weapons. that includes rogues in this system. And what distinguishes guns and other firearms is in Pathfinder is that they're uncommon. That's what distinguishes them, which is a handy tool for GMs to exclude things that they think are not thematically fitting to their campaign setting. But yeah, nothing stops you from picking up a gun if you're a martial character and being just as proficient as a gun. Well, gunslingers have some advantages to using guns that, but it doesn't make it a deal breaker for other classes.
Would it be an issue if I actually didn't go Blaster Caster?
What are you thinking?
Rogue. Because sneaking is something I absolutely love. Every single CRPG I go rogue or something sneaky, but it doesn't exactly work in 5e, so I don't really play rogues in 5e.
All right.
I'm interested in killing.
My only take is that to look a little at we want to explore how casting works, but you're not precluded from that because there actually is, in the Advanced Player's Guide, and I may be breaking my rule now, there is a, you basically choose your archetype at level 1 in Pathfinder. And there is or subclass, whatever you call it. In the Advanced Player's Guide, there's a rogue option called the Eldritch Trickster, which gives you a it lets you, the way Pathfinder does multi-classing is you get a series of feats in your second class. It will never be as good as your main class, but what Eldritch Trickster does is it gives you the first feat that unlocks all the other ones at level 1. So what that does, I think, is it gives you 2 spells to cast, I believe. Anyway, that's a proposal, if you want to be a rogue. What does the group think about him being a rogue?
I'm down with it. My goal, first goal of the rule of the table, in my opinion, everybody should have fun.
Yeah, I'm fine
Because
with
we
it as
have
well.
a caster, so a healer, so the casting spells and all this, from tutorial perspective, should be handled.
Yep, we will cover, and you know what?
And we
I'll
don't
cover the spell
really have
casting, and
anyone
you'll be
who
able to
does,
cover the stealth.
And we actually don't have anyone who does Dex who would pick locks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, Barbarian can in theory just smash the door open, but
Okay, go ahead. Sounds like. Do you like the idea of being an Eldritch Trickster, or do you want to go more traditional rogue?
I was thinking thief.
Okay, all right.
So
So,
the traditional rogue, sneaky beaky.
yeah.
And I know rogues. No thief thief is the only thing that actually gets dexterity damage on melee weapons.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so update your part of the sheet. I actually want to have my own printout of this PDF. Let's see.
It's a great update to Sneaky Stabby.
Hell yeah.
Also, one thing I noticed that the races half elf or half orc is actually relegated to a heritage in humans. That's actually pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I should let people know. People are going. Yeah. If you've already chosen your ancestry, I'm gonna point out. You get to choose. What would be your sub race in 5e is called a heritage, and it gives you a single other ability. Well, first of all, each ancestry gives you some stuff in the margin here. So I'm looking at let's look at the dwarf. It gets 10 hit points, which is a lot from being a dwarf, and you get additional hit points from your class. So you're going to get a good amount of hit points at level 1. Then it tells you your size. Medium and small don't have much mechanical impact in this game. Your base speed. Typical speed is 25 feet per stride action, so dwarves are a little slower. Your ability boosts. your ability flaw, your languages, some traits. Um, this basically has no inherent effect. It just interacts, it gives a reference for other rules in the system to refer to. You get dark vision as a dwarf, and you get a clan dagger, which, when you read the lore, every dwarf has a dagger from their clan. So, if you had the physical core rulebook or Archives of Nethys, if you're looking on Archives of Nethys, where all of these rules are for free, including from the expansion books, you would be noting these things on your physical character sheet if you were using a physical sheet. What was I going to say? Oh, so I'm going to go ahead and, start with your ability scores. I'm going to start typing them in here to illustrate something. So with so if everyone could look at what I'm doing in the spreadsheet now, Brent is choosing to be a dwarf, which would give him a boost in Constitution. So if I had a physical sheet, I would write a plus sign next to Constitution to track my boosts. He also gets a boost in Wisdom. He gets a free boost, which he gets to put in any other stat. Within each step, we're in the Ancestry step now, you cannot boost the same stat more than once. So, Brent, if you could, choose another stat that you'd like to increase and apply your free boost to that.
I'll go strength.
Okay. And then, so you'll do that, and then you get an ability flaw in Charisma, so I'll put a minus next to Charisma.
Can I, if my ancestry gives me a free boost, can I use that boost to buff the? Can I put that ability boost, the free one, into the same ability that the ancestry gives me the flaw in? So like goblins have minus to wisdom.
Yes, you can.
Can I put? Okay.
And the voluntary flaw option lets you turn your wisdom into a 12 if you're interested. Just so you know that that's a possibility. The way voluntary flaws work is you put 2 boosts. You put how is it? After you're done with the rest of the parts of this step, you can boost 1 score so long as it does not raise it above 12 for the price of 2 flaws to your stats. So it's a net negative, but you may very well want to really have that high score. But at the end of it all, you cannot have any score that's outside the range of 8, 10, and 12. Okay. All right. Okay, and what I was going to get to is that for Brent, he gets to choose a heritage that is basically like a subclass: Ancient Blooded Dwarf, Death Warden Dwarf, or Forge Dwarf, Rock Dwarf, or Strong Blooded Dwarf. And so if you have a physical book, I don't know if any of you do, you'll want to look at your options there, or go to Archives of Nethys and open it in another window. If you need my help in showing something to you, let me know.
I'm looking at archives and I don't see the heritages.
Okay. On the left side.
No, never mind. Found it.
Okay. Swing Ripper's here. All right. He's already posted 5 times. Okay. What did you miss?
He's an
Of
overachiever.
Yeah. He's a very I tease him for how fast he replies to things. I'm just looking at the overall chat.
How big of a deal would be that flaw in wisdom, like without evening it out with the bonus?
Oh, I'll point out that you'll generally, as a group, want someone to have a good wisdom, to cover the medicine skill really well. Maybe a second player too. possibly, or at least have a decent wisdom. And overall, it's things that are misconceptions coming from 5e. Intelligence gives you more skills in Pathfinder. If you have a bonus in intelligence, you get more skills. You get to have more skills be trained, and you also get more languages.
All right, I have a PDF copy of the rulebook open. So, if make sure I did this correct. Humans get as a cleric, my primary skills, my primary stats are wisdom, followed by charisma, followed by con. If I looked at that correctly. As a human, I get 2 free skill boosts. I
Yep.
put the pluses as you requested.
Mhm.
And then under human, I'm looking at versatile heritage, which says I get general feat. I assume we'll get to that later, but it provides me no additional stat boosts, so I am currently caught up.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
I see not everyone has chosen a heritage yet. Oh, and
just
what
did-
Lem was pointing out, humans, their heritage can be to be a half elf or a half orc. That's also available. Since the core rulebook, Pathfinder has opened up this space even more with versatile heritages. So, the Asamar, for example, is not a separate race. It can be a heritage that you graft onto your base ancestry. So you can be a goblin Asamar. You can be an angelic goblin. You don't need to be a human in order to be, human-like to be an Asamar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, sure.
Oh, and what people should look at next is you get your first of many feats in your ancestry, and you become your ancestry unlocks feats for it, and you get to add feats over the course of your adventuring career, and you only get one now, but you get one at every 4 levels after this. Okay, I'll be back.
Oh, so many choices.
I'm already looking at Path Builder here, and just the ancestry bits alone, there's a lot of choices that I have to
Oh, yeah.
read.
Yeah, you.
Uh,
Oh yeah,
Tubbs,
you're
if
a
you're-
human. Yeah, they get a lot of them.
Oh dear
Tubbs,
lord.
if you're looking at the AnyFlip PDF, I believe that is out of date.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like, it
I
doesn't
was-
have clan daggers for dwarves, and it only has strength for champions.
Ah. Well, then I will just I will just look at the path builder then and do it there.
Yes,
We have not got to backgrounds yet, have we? Nope, backgrounds are
we have
after
not.
ancestry feat. Okay.
yes. I like the idea that even Ancestries has feats because
Yeah.
once you're done with your race in D&D, you're done with it. You don't have any
Yeah,
bonuses left.
that's nice.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's what I meant. Like, if you've seen a goblin rogue, you've seen one goblin rogue, you've seen all of them.
Yeah.
Because
But
you
with
just
ancestry
set it
feats,
for them.
even just a goblin rogue, different goblin rogues, they feel different.
Yeah, I'm actually torn on the ancestry feat.
Hmm.
I'm not sure whether to pick very sneaky for the being sneaky,
Mhm.
or goblin weapon familiarity for dog slicer.
All right.
Okay, so because we have 2 humans in the group, well, actually, this is for Tubbs, but everyone should hear this. So he he chose a heritage. Humans are in this system, like in other systems, are known for their versatility and their ability to, well, yeah. But what happens here is you get what's called a general feat at level 1. Usually you have to wait until level 3 to get your first general feat. And I'm going to show a listing of them. How do I move this?
So Vestal heritage for humans is like variant human for 5e, right? More or less.
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay. There's this list of general feats, and I know you can't see this, but maybe if I make it big enough. Um, is that big enough? No?
Just barely. It's still a little out of focus.
All right. So, uh, these are general feats, and they give you things that are generally applicable. They're not tied to a specific skill. There's actually a lot more than there are general skill feats, which you can also choose at this time if you want to improve, unlock something with how you use a specific skill. We can go back to this later if you'd like, but or you can choose a general feat now. There's like some popular ones are toughness, which gives you more hit points. Fleet, which increases your speed. Incredible initiative.
What type of armor am I trained in as a cleric in this game?
None, unless you're.
Depends on which doctrine you choose at level 1. There's the caster, purely caster focused cleric, which is not proficient with any armor. And they will want to get armor proficiency or a high dexterity also, so that they don't die. Then there's the war priest doctrine, which gives you proficiency with light and medium armor and also martial weapons. Or
So
one
if I
martial
took
weapon.
the armor proficiency from here, I would have heavy armor.
If you choose to be a war priest, yes.
Yes, that's what I want. I want to, because that's one of the things I said at the first, is I want to be able to stand next to the fighter and not sweat. So yeah,
Okay.
so I'm gonna take armor proficiency so that I can get heavy armor and stand on the front line and heal, because I can heal the casters from behind me with ranged healing, if there is ranged healing in this game, and then I'm right next to the fighter to aid them and heal them as they need it.
Great. All right, so that will be, I would put a colon after versatile heritage. And say heavy armor proficiency. And looks like no one has chosen their ancestry feat yet. Is everyone on Archives of Nethys? Because
I am, yes.
that's part of the problem. Because Archives of Nethys lists all of the options from all the books.
Yeah, I was looking at that. You can filter to just
it's
the character
less
guide,
overwhelming. If we somehow, I want to know if Archives of Nethys.
You can go to Pathfinder and the options limit to Core Rulebook.
Yeah, you can filter by source.
You can filter by source, and there should be a checkbox to make it Core Rulebook only. That makes it less overwhelming.
Yeah, you have to uncheck everything. You just check one.
Yeah, and so one of the nice things is in the path builder, there's a core rule book, and it filters everything else out. So I'm literally looking at just core rule book stuff. So that's been really handy.
So this is what I'm doing on Archives of Nethys. Here's the Barbarian Feats. No, Barbarian Feats. I meant Ancestry. Ancestry.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
What is the aid skill? Because it says this particular feat would give me a +4 bonus to checks to aid. Is that like helping other people do stuff?
Yes, it's an action that anyone can do, and you get to give a bonus to somebody else. But it's not automatic. You have to roll something.
Right. All right, that's perfect. That will make me better at aid, which is my goal.
Oh, and if anyone's reading +1 and thinking, "Oh, that sounds meh," double every number you see, because we're gonna see with Pathfinder, you can get a critical hit, or if you beat the target number by 10, and you can also critically fail if you miss the target number by 10. So every +1 has a chance of affecting a result on 2 different die results. They're twice as effective, basically. And so double every number you see to kind of see its real impact. Oh, and critical hits also kind of work with skills too. You can critically succeed on lying to somebody, and there's rules for what happens when I think for that. But other skill actions, there's going to be like, oh, if you critically succeed when you climb, you go much faster, and this is how fast you go. It's like, it's defined.
Looking at it right now, I'm a bit overwhelmed with the choices.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not able to read all the chat. There's 42 viewers, you guys.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That
So Tubbs, good point. If you're going to be a heavy armor person, then one, your dex, well, point being, you'll want to have 16 strength or higher for heavy armor if you want to avoid some penalties.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I may stay in medium. I hadn't planned on dumping that many points into strength.
Also, chat mentioned.
Flame
Yeah,
Loud wants to ping me for some reason. What, did I miss something you said? Oh, heavy armor is unaffordable at level 1.
It is affordable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better to know.
It is affordable. You can get chainmail plus armored skirt for 6 gold and 20 silver.
Yeah.
I read in chat. What's that thing with clerics and charisma?
Oh, heavy armor. Oh, sorry. Heavy armor becomes affordable after maybe your first session or second session. It's not super.
Actually,
out.
how much gold do you start with in team?
You start with 15 gold. I'm sorry. There was a question from Lem, I believe. What was it?
I read something. Chat. What's the thing with clerics and charisma?
Yeah, they're a secondary ability score for clerics because your charisma determines how many extra heal or harm spells you have per day.
Well, if we start with 15 gold, then heavy armor is very much affordable. 6 gold, 20 silver.
Huh.
With chainmail
Let me
plus
see if
armored
that's true.
skirt.
Isn't gold just 10 silver?
Chainmail is 6 gold pieces plus 4 AC bonus, which is medium armor, and then you can add armor skirt to it. Adventuring gear, 20 silver pieces.
I would say.
Which,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Heavy armor is a bit unviable. It's the cheapest heavy armor is 13 gold, so that leaves you 2 gold left for.
Yeah.
If you want a good martial weapon, that's usually like 2 gold or higher, and then you'll need adventuring gear.
What about armor skirt, which is the adventuring gear? Oh, I have it in front of my eyes. Adventuring gear is 20 silver pieces, and you can attach it to medium armor to make it heavy, and it increases AC by 1.
Huh. That's something not in the core rulebook. What's it called?
Oh yeah, it's from Lost Omen. That's never mind. Lost Omen's character guide, page 91, armor skirt.
Okay. Generally for new players, I would not venture far out.
And that's why I'm using the path builder, so it stays in the core rulebook, and I'm not trying to confuse myself.
Yeah, it's something I've heard about, so I remember it.
Oh, I
was
gotcha.
trying to a build that used 2 weapons that were pretty expensive. So
All right. So people still choosing ancestry feats. I see. People are digging deep.
yeah, I have no idea whether to pick goblin weapon familiarity or very sneaky, because I have no idea how sneak works.
Yeah. Let me how to put it. very usually when you sneak, you go at half speed, and you also need to if you want to stay hidden at the end of your sneak, you need to be behind cover at the end. I think the biggest benefit is very sneaky is you get to do 3 in a row and then be in hiding. I'm double
Okay,
checking.
if I need to be hiding at the end of my sneak action, how do I get into melee with enemy? If I end my, like, if I use my action to sneak to the enemy, I end my turn right in front of the enemy, or like right behind them.
Yeah, you
So
need
they
to
should.
have cover or concealment. What the way rogues get sneak attack damage is they usually act before somebody else in initiative with a special because they're hiding before the combat, and so they have this absolute exception, like everything is flat-footed to them if they haven't acted yet. Also, there are other ways to make somebody flat-footed if you're in melee with them, such as the feint action or create a diversion. But otherwise, you need to be like sneaking up to a corner or up to a barricade or into low light in order to stay hidden. Hidden.
Goblin weapon familiarity it is then.
I'm sorry. What was that about goblin
Goblin
weapon?
weapon familiarity it is then.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, it has weapons that have that are backstabber, I believe. The dog slicer. Okay.
It looks like
More
shots
questions. What your most important job, you guys, is to ask me questions. All right, and okay, I think Yuki's still working on that, but in the meantime, the next step is to choose a background, and I kind of want to show people. I don't think the Archives of Nethys is a good way to pick a background if anyone's watching, because you can't filter it to the core rulebook. If I recall correctly.
Filter it at all.
There's a huge number of them. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do is show my screen, and you can see the manageable number of backgrounds. What backgrounds do is they're not as extensive as 5e backgrounds, but they contribute to your ability boosts, and they give you a skill feat, and where am I? Here we go. We'll see. I know there's something I'm forgetting. Okay, so here is... I'm going to go to the backgrounds. Here we go. Tell me if it's too small. I'm just going to read... Do people want me to read the names to get... Now I'll just let you look at them. Tell me when to turn the page. I mean, basically, I would start with your concept. That's usually the best way to pick a background, because backgrounds, you don't choose them for optimization in Pathfinder, because each still lets you put a boost in any ability score that you want. The only exception is if you are somebody who wants to make 2 or more abilities, specific ones, high. You want your background to have at least one of them.
I'm ready for the next page if everyone else is.
I'm ready as well.
Anyone need more time?
I'm good.
Okay.
Also, I noticed the sun is about to go up in my time.
Oh no, we're going a little longer, but I see you guys are being thorough.
It's alright.
Someone points out, this would have been good if we were doing like a real campaign for a longer time. There's a subsystem in the game mastery guide called Deep Backgrounds, where you go through a set of choices to build something that's more custom that also defines some key events in your life, in your pre-adventuring life.
Oh, that's actually cool. One of the like setting books for D&D has something like that. The Critical Role setting one has it's called Hero Chronicle or something like that, which like gives you a choice list of your favorite food, where you're from. If you're from this place, what's your favorite food? This happened at this age and all this.
Oh, cool.
I got my
Alright,
background, so
I know my background now.
Okay. Does Yuki need more time for the background?
No, I'm good.
I think that's all of us. Yeah.
Got my criminal.
All right, so let's see what people have done. So, Lord Tub Tub is a,
Right, I put that in the wrong spot.
yeah. He's a versatile human. He's choosing cooperative nature. He wants to help others. You're still gonna have to roll your own check, though. Maybe you'll have them roll it for you to help themselves.
See, now you're thinking, hey, how good would you like to be helped? Go ahead and roll a d20 and let's see how good you get helped.
Oh Lord.
Okay. And read your background. It's going to give you 2 ability boosts. Apply those now. It's going to give you a skill training. And there's a box. If you scroll down, where is it? Skills. Type what skills it's going to give you. And it's going to give you 1 general skill and 1 lore skill. So type that from your background in the appropriate box. And it will finally give you a skill feat, which is a couple boxes lower. And your skill feat, look that up now. It's going to give you something cool.
If
I'll be
I
back.
already have a skill that my background gives me, I get to pick a different one, right? Because I picked criminal, which gives stealth, and rogue by default gives stealth.
I believe that is rules as written. Definitely a GM should let you just make it a free skill instead. Yeah. Yeah, that is rules as written. I'm just not sure where. I think it's under the backgrounds chapter. But yeah, don't worry about overlap. Okay, I'll be back.
Humanist 2 stat boosts. Noble. Has 2 stat.
Choices.
Right?
All right. All right, any questions up to this point? Everyone got the skill feat, everything from their background?
I'm working on it. It's a little confusing.
Uh-huh.
So for the... Okay, never mind. I figured it out. I just wanted to ask if I had the right skill feat, but I just saw it says skill feat right after it, so...
Mm-hmm.
What is a quick jump? Hold on. High jump, long jump.
So, Andrew, are you planning to wear, you're going to wear some medium armor, I'm guessing.
That is, I have defaulted back to medium armor.
Okay, let me look at the strength requirements.
Chat, I dropped that in chat, and they said 12 would get me in hide. I think that was, that was swing in there.
Yeah.
Some other people, yeah, anywhere from 12 to 16, depending on the exact type. What is a I kind of picture him in chainmail. Means I may have to move some stats around.
Yeah, we can always change these later.
Oh,
Chainmail requires a 16 strength.
Ooh, never mind.
so lowers your speed.
What about scale or something like that?
That requires a 14.
Whatever. Okay, so one step above hide would be scale, I guess.
Yeah, in terms of
Okay.
armor class bonus, and also needing
All right.
having it also conversely has a lower cap on how much your dexterity can help your armor class.
Okay, so
If you want to wear anything better than hide, you will need to put a boost into strength now, since you're only gonna have one more chance to boost it. There are 4 steps in which you can boost your scores,
okay.
and the third step is your class, which will be in wisdom.
All right, so human gives me I got a point of wisdom and a point of charisma from being human. My noble background gives me intelligence and charisma, or it gives me intelligence or charisma and one other. So I took charisma and wisdom. Everybody in the chat was stressing charisma for spell casting.
For your heal, having more heal spells.
Yes. So then I took versatile heritage, which gives me the free feat, of which I picked instead of getting the wear heavier armor, I changed that to toughness to get some extra hit points.
Yep.
Then my ancestry feat is cooperative nature. So
Yep.
So that's it. I mean, I've gotten
Okay.
4 stat points. And am
Yeah,
I up?
I
Am I?
I see no issues. You just get a skill feat that you haven't typed in, and as long as you're fine with hide armor.
Yeah, I'd be fine with hide armor.
Yeah.
Where does the skill feat come from?
It's the background free skill feat. It's going to be written in the under noble genealogy.
Well, I put it down at the bottom. Okay, so that's society skill.
No. You keep both of those, but in addition, it's going to give you a skill feat somewhere.
Well, it says you're trained in society skill and genealogy lore or heraldry lore. Courtly Grace's skill feat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I put that down at the bottom under skill feats.
Courtly Graces.
So-
Let's see what that does.
That goes there, right?
Yes.
Okay, I had it down on the where it says skill feats at the bottom. Okay.
All right. Okay, it lets you use your society skill, one of your skills, to hobnob with nobles or impersonate to be to pretend you're a noble.
Wow.
All right. Okay. So we're done with backgrounds. Now we can do the big one, class. So I think most people are using Archives of Nethys. Go to your class's first page now, and I am going to show. Who's using a physical book? I know Tubbs is.
Yeah.
I have a PDF. Apparently, I have an out of date PDF.
People still use physical books.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
like physical
I
books.
meant
There's
who's
not
actually
many
using
ones.
the core rulebook right now. That was my question. Okay, so other people are using Archives of Nethys. So
Yes.
people look at my screen. I'm gonna show the Cleric right now, and probably should see the spread. Okay, if you have the physical book, you have this nice layout, and this gives you helps guide your choices. Which class do you want to be this class if Archives of Nethys will mirror this first page on the right. It's going to tell you your key ability. Your key ability means you get a boost in that score at this time. Then you get additional hit points, but we're going to finalize your ability scores before we do that. And then it tells you what you're proficient in. And depending on if you're using... Well, Path Builder will populate all your proficiencies, most of them automatically for you. But if you're using a physical sheet, you'll want to do some checking of boxes for those proficiencies. And if I would like all of you, though, even if you're not, no matter what you're doing, to type in your skills so that you guys can have an exchange over, making sure someone has the medicine skill, for example. Then, yeah, so just work on that first, what you see on what in the PDF is the class's first page. So work on that.
I'm gonna have so many skills, I have no idea what to pick.
Just type a number for now, like 8 more or 6 more, something like that.
We've got acrobatics, athletics, diplomacy, intimidation, medicine, stealth, thievery, and I have 2 more to pick.
You know what? Before we go deep into this, I realize we need to do what I call the 4th step. Don't forget your 4 ability boosts. Someone coined that in Reddit. So let's do this right now. Let's finalize all your ability scores now, you guys. So you're going to get a boost in your class's key ability. And for the rogue, depending on which racket they chose, it could be one of any number of them. But yours is Dexterity, Yuki.
Yep.
Yep. For chat, this Google Doc is left to right is the same order as on the screen.
Flame loud, I absolutely am not far right.
Yeah, we're talking
center right.
about
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously.
the screen.
You get 4. You can choose anything from those 4 for your level 1 creation.
Oh,
The free ability boosts. Yeah.
yes. And remember that you can't double boost in a single step, so it has to be 4 different ability scores.
All right. Yeah.
And then when you're done with your ability scores, let me know, and I'm going to audit you.
I think I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I missed something.
Okay, the way I
The
check.
parentheses are like flop plus free boost.
Okay. The way I check is all of the bonuses, the modifier should add up to 9. Okay, that looks good, Yuki.
I believe I'm done with mine too.
Yeah, and feel free to replace all your pluses and minuses with the score and modifier. The modifiers are the same as in D&D. A 16 is a +3, for example.
All right. I am missing something.
Yeah. Your 4 free boosts, Tubbs.
4?
You get 4 more boosts.
Okay. That's where I missed it. So I was reading Cleric, and I put my 1 boost from Cleric, and then I get 4 more after that.
Yes. That's why I
4
call
free
it the
boosts.
don't forget your 4 free boosts. A, B, C, D.
That makes sense. All right. So.
And so people know, there are plentiful more boosts you'll get over the course of 1 to 20. Every 5th level, you will get 4 more boosts just like you are right now. So it's possible to have 2 18s at level 5.
Okay.
You'll get to boost your 18 even farther, but once you're at that point, your boosts only count as adding the 1 to your base score. So you actually have to boost it 2 more times to go from 18 to 20.
Okay.
So that's a nice little incentive to kind of makes you spread out your boosts a little more. You don't need to hyper specialize.
Okay. I am lost, sir.
Sure. So
I'm looking at other people's stats, and so somebody like an 18.
Yeah. Oh.
And
Wait, don't
Well,
don't
I
don't
mean-
translate it to those scores yet. Let's get your
Oh, okay.
choose your force. No. I'm talking to Tubbs.
Oh,
Tubbs. Just choose your 4 scores that you're going to boost now, and
And I can stack these on each other, right?
within this step. No, they have to be 4 different scores. So
And then I don't see how to get an 18.
if you put 1 next to wisdom, that will become an 18.
Each plus is worth 2?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, suddenly the world becomes clear. Each plus is worth 2. I'm thinking each plus is worth 1. Okay,
Yeah.
now, so that's an 18. That's a 16. That's 2 of my boosts. There.
Okay, but you can't put 2 boosts in the
Oh,
same
that's right. I
score.
can put 2 in con. So then
You're
I'll
gonna
get
put
a
1 in
little more
strength.
dex. Oh, that's right. I do need that strength to wear the armor.
Yeah. Okay. And then you know how to convert that to scores?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that that's what wasn't making sense. I was like, what am I
Alright.
missing? How do people get 18s?
All right. For fun, I'm gonna add the this is fun for us. For special people who play role-playing games. Let's calculate your hit points.
Oh boy.
So I'll tell you now. It's you got what you got from your ancestry, then what you get from your class, plus your Constitution bonus.
So I believe Dwarf Champion, that puts me at 23, right?
Yes. And when you level up, you're going to be adding your full hit die. Hit die is not
So-
even a term in Pathfinder.
Oh.
You get to add 10 every
nice.
level. 10 plus your Constitution bonus
get
every
13.
level. So it's going to become 36 at level 2.
Yeah.
So this is actually the first step of your adding what you get from your class, I think. You get hit points, and we can calculate it now.
All right, so let's see. Human
No,
gives me
sorry.
8.
Dropping my constitution. No, dropping charisma to boost constitution instead.
Okay?
No, that's one hit, like, it doesn't matter.
Cleric gives me 8.
Yeah, someone says Tubbs' dex is 10, but it's the risk and reward. If you're going to go high charisma, you're going to have lower physical stats.
Yep.
It's up to Andrew what he wants to do.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I mean, you got to play. You
You're-
always play wrong first time.
Yeah, you're going to be more vulnerable. You're going to be more squishy, but you're going to have more heals.
Fine. And then...
I see no one has boosted their intelligence. And this is intelligence gives you more skills. It gives you more bonus languages, and also there are skills based in intelligence like recalling knowledge. That's not a skill, but there are some skills that help you discern the weaknesses, strengths, and special abilities of monsters better, and intelligence helps with those. Wisdom helps with those too, but intelligence also helps you with crafting, like including repairing shields, and what else? I don't know. I'm thinking of level 1. It's just so people know. Okay, then the next thing that we see for the cleric, and there's going to be something similar for every class, is your initial proficiencies. You get some proficiency in perception. Perception is technically not a skill in Pathfinder. They decided everyone wants a good perception, so everyone basically has an automatic progression. You don't have to worry about spending your skills on it. And then there are only 3 saving throws in Pathfinder. Fortitude, Reflex, and Will. There's no choice you need to make now, but we'll see those in play. But basically, Fortitude is physical resistance. Reflex is how you dodge. Will is your mental defense. Then skills. So this is more involved. Your class will make you automatically proficient in a skill. List that under in the skills box, and then it'll give you some more skills. And we will go over skills in a second once people are with me. Or is everyone with me?
I believe I'm following.
Okay. So everyone gets their automatic skill from their class. And I see Tubbs, you need to know what deity you worship. We'll get to you in a second. I just want to
And I also need to.
I want to be able to move on to the skills and explaining them. Okay, I want to do that. Skills are more defined in 2E. They're more, people find them more helpful, and they're referred to and used more often. You can see that in this table. There's actually defined things you can do using these skills. Like with athletics, you can use climb, force open, high jump, shove, trip. So combat maneuvers to stymie enemies are here. And they are, you're going to want to type the skills that you're going to choose and have some communication among each other also. Your bonus is going to be modified, just like in 5e, by a particular ability score. So, and then your level of proficiency. Some actions require that you actually be trained in them, like the key action, treat wounds. You have to be actually trained in medicine. To actually disable device, you need to actually be trained in thievery. Okay. To actually feint and try to lower someone's armor class in combat, you need to be trained in deception. So yeah, with that knowledge, let me see. Acrobatics helps with those untrained actions. This table kind of speaks for itself. I'm just going to speak as to what might work differently here than in 5e. Deception, actively, you can use it in combat to lower somebody's armor class. And when we actually do the adventure, you'll see that in theory you can attack 3 times in combat, but your accuracy gets lower every time. So something that, if you're thinking about optimization at this point, you want to find something either in your skills or in your skill feats or class feats that you can do instead of attacking with a low accuracy. Because doing something like feinting or intimidating somebody can directly improve your chances of hitting somebody, but it does not suffer from the multiple attack penalty. So you can feint and then hit, or intimidate and then hit. That's something you may want to think about. There's also spells that cost only 1 action also. So anyway, I'll leave you to it to become trained in these skills. You cannot be expert in a skill yet, but you can improve things further as you level up. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to make my 10th bathroom break. Was there a question? Okay, but make sure to you guys should, talk about, or I would recommend 2 people cover the medicine skill. And besides that, I would prioritize skills that you have a high bonus in. So, for example, if you have a high wisdom, look at the wisdom skills and consider those, because if something calls for a single person to do the check, you can do it for the party. Okay, that's it. I'll be back.
I'll probably pick up medicine because I have a 14 in my wisdom.
Yeah, same. I picked medicine.
I'm definitely picking it up as the cleric. So
I have +2 or 12 in my wisdom, but I straight up have nothing else to pick. So
Yeah.
I'm getting 1 plus 6 or 7 skills.
Yeah, you're gonna billion
Yeah,
of them.
I am a skill monkey, dude.
Like I saw, I only get like
The
5, and looked over at yours, and
the
Yeah, I
question
get
is what
a
can't
number of
you do?
skills equal to 7 plus your intelligence. But if I and on top of that, trained in stealth,
oh yeah.
then trained in thievery because I'm a thief.
Yeah, I swapped my dex plus to my intelligence. Just because of the skills and like the lore skills I saw use intelligence. So
So far, the only thing I can think about my character is this big meaty guy who looks intimidating.
yeah.
Shouldn't Tab's HP be higher?
What
I
was
don't
that?
know. Human is 8.
Yeah, but you pick toughness.
Oh yes,
Toughness doesn't get.
Oh
toughness,
yeah,
It doesn't. It doesn't say it gives hit points.
it does.
I
It,
feel
Eh,
it does
it does.
because I
Yeah.
read.
You increase it by 1 per level, so it'll be
Oh,
one more.
I missed that part.
Yeah.
I missed that. I saw the DC of recovery checks is equal to 9 plus your dying condition value. That meant nothing, and that's what I thought it did. So I missed the line right before that where
Your,
it says
your eyes glazed over.
That meant nothing, Chad. Yes,
It literally-
Anyway,
yes,
know.
it meant nothing. It was like, okay, those are words.
this is like death saving throws, right?
yeah,
exercise.
yeah. We'll get to into the fun mechanics at some point. Not today, but yeah, death is a possibility in this game.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
I like how skills even have their own actions. Like for example, intimidation. You can just demoralize someone using your action.
Yes. It's a good house rule for 5e too.
That's
Yeah, but
something I would
it's,
really like in 5e because skills are mostly useless in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Unless
have
you're a
perception, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
For
Unless
secret
you're a
action.
rogue.
While we're on this, does anyone besides Tubbs have some question that's popped up so far? I'm about to move on to his deity choice.
I also need the deity choice because I'm.
Oh yeah, the champion. Okay, so I'm not sure where it's going to be in Archives of Nethys, but there's this Okay, your deities. There are 20 major deities, and if you tell me the idea of what deity you worship, I can tell you what it is, or is the closest.
So, if this was a long-term game, would there be a way for a cleric to pick up skills or feats or things to create magical arms and armor?
Yes.
Okay, then that's who I would be following. Some type of crafts god.
Okay.
It's like a smith, basically the human version of Legmoradin.
All right.
Lamashta.
Looks like it's Torag. The dwarven deity called the Father of Creation is god of the forge, protection, and strategy, most widely worshipped by dwarves. Those who treasure crafting and creation also follow Torag, lawful good.
All right, I like it.
Okay, your edicts are to be honorable and forthright, keep your word, respect the forge, serve your people. Anathema, you actually, you must not do these to continue to be a worshiper of Torag. Do not tell lies or cheat someone. Do not intentionally create inferior works. Do not show mercy to the enemies of your people. Are you speaking, Tubbs?
Nope, I'm typing.
Oh, okay.
Why am I glad you're not a dwarf?
Followers must be lawful good or lawful neutral.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Aren't like goblins enemies of dwarves or something? Would be interesting. With your anathema and having a goblin in your party.
Well, goblins are kind of integrated into polite adventuring society now. in Pathfinder lore. Um, Devotee benefits. So Brent should see the significance of these things. So there's the divine font defines your clerics get free heal or harm spells based on their charisma score. Harm is the opposite of heal. Heal can also damage undead, and harm can heal undead. Depending on what deity you worship, you may be limited in your choice. You have to do the heal spell, Tubbs. Okay. You also get a divine skill. So Tubbs, one of your skills will be crafting. You'll get crafting as your deity skill. Okay. Your favored weapon, I don't know if just type this in under somewhere for now. Favored weapon is Warhammer. And you also have added to your spell list Mind Link, that one word. If that's not already on the divine list, I think that. Okay. Then, Brent, do you have an idea of what you want to be, or have you chosen one? Or what your deity?
I was looking for deity. I was looking at Torog. Is there one for mining and stuff specifically, like, or would that just be Torog as well?
Well, I think a lesser deity may be focused on that. I'm just doing a word search.
Yeah.
It did not come up. I'm gonna look up something. Well, actually, I said core rulebook only, so let's see. You could also worship a philosophy, I believe, by rule, or a pantheon. But they're not going to have. Anyway, these deities, though, give you defined rules on what they unlock for you.
Yeah.
So let's stick to that.
Yeah, so I'll take Torog then
Okay.
as well.
Hey, you guys will get along.
Exactly.
You said mining. I'm just looking at what else here.
How do you spell his name?
Torag.
Literally just like it sounds.
Well, non-English speakers will hear Torag and Torag. Torag. There you go.
I would have put H in that.
I would say Torag is the closest. I mean, is the closest, Brent, to mining.
Yeah.
I mean, you hang out. Yeah, you're a dwarf. Yeah. You're Uber Torag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go. So, I don't know if that gave you a skill or not. I know it gives you.
It gives crafting, I believe.
Okay. All right. So back to our first page of the class.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat, Arlon, dropped in the Sarthazul, the Earth Elemental, focuses on mining. That probably has more meaning to you than it does to me.
Yeah, I want to stick to the core rulebook though. But thank you though.
Okay. That is outside of the core rulebook. Gotcha.
Yeah. But there's a supplement. There's like over 200 like deities and imperial lords and philosophies, and then you can have pantheons. It's like
Awesome.
yeah.
More options is never a bad thing, except for new people where it gets confusing.
Aralon Wolf makes a good point. Mining equals wealth. There's the capitalism and wealth and banking deity as well, if you're more of that bent. But I don't know if you can be Okay. All right. Back to
Cleric of capitalism.
You can be a cleric of capitalism.
Hell
You
yeah.
just-
Let's go.
You can, if you're in Abadar's one of his allowed alignments, yeah, and you can of course be evil clerics. Okay. All right. It's also going to tell you next on your class proficiencies what weapons you're proficient in, and actually what attacks you're efficient in, and what defenses you're efficient in. That's where you can have your armor proficiencies. Everyone is trained in unarmed attacks and unarmored defense. And why that's defined, you will find out when we calculate things. Okay, and then you also become trained as a cleric in divine spell attacks and divine spell DCs. Okay, that's all straightforward. You, if you had a physical sheet, you would be checking off some boxes right now. The purpose of this spreadsheet, you don't need to type anything here. The purpose of the spreadsheet, which I will share at some point, is to allow a GM to have a session 0 and allow you to see what other people are doing. You can even edit it between sessions, and tells the GM at the end of the day if what choice, if your GM makes the characters on their end, which I do on Hero Lab, the actual choices to put into Hero Lab, into a character creator. So things that are chosen for you are not here. Okay, now we do the class features. If you look at the shared screen, you'll see that every class, and this is also in Archives of Nethys, has a table that says everything you get at that level. Every class table is going to say that you get an ancestry and background and initial proficiencies. We've already gone through those steps. Then you get other things that your class gives you. If you are so we should go through those things, and I would like to go through them with people. Are there any questions that have popped up yet so far in getting your class stuff?
I was looking again at my skills I get from my class. I changed my dexterity modifier into intelligence.
Okay.
So I get religion, my deity, +3.
Yes. Plus
So,
3 skills.
Yeah, okay. And then, so what exactly is society used for?
Society is to know about customs, laws, things that are not, like rogues that know about the underground, the black market, gangs in a city. Those are all kinds of things that you can recall knowledge about using society. Also, it's used for learning the special. When you recall knowledge in combat, that's going to tell you about humanoids. Yeah. I wonder how YouTube chat can ping somebody. I don't know how to do that in YouTube chat. Can someone tell me how? Like when there's a big bright.
So all you do is do the @ symbol, start typing the person's name, and then you click on their name, and like I'm doing it right now. Well, that was weird. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Because if you type that, you type.
I thought that's what it was. You start typing the @ symbol and type it. Maybe I'm not clicking it.
I don't know. I tried it without clicking, and if you look at my 2 posts for Callum,
Flame Loud knows the secret.
You start typing, and then it will pop up.
Huh. I'm not sure why it becomes all bright. Is it because I'm the rules lawyer and it?
Yeah, if it's at you, then it like.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, there you go. No, but I've seen people at somebody else in the chat who's not. I don't know.
Yeah, and if like someone was to at me, for example, you would not see it like brightened because it's at me.
Oh, so it only
brightens
adds to the person.
Yeah, it only brightens to the person who's at.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yay!
Yeah, because like rules lawyer isn't highlighted for me.
It's not highlighted
cool.
for you.
No, it's not.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, just like Flame Loud just added me, and
yeah,
it's orange me.
Cool. All right, we all learned something.
Exactly.
I learned something.
They barely use streaming services.
All right, people should kind of go work on their class table, what it gets from them. But I want to walk through with people so that people can collectively see what people get, kind of.
I actually have a question. Do we note down the perception somewhere, or because I started expert perception as a rogue, so I'm not sure if I should have put it down in skills or.
Oh, no, you don't need to type that in because it's not a
Okay,
skill.
I get it, but
It's automatically determined by your class.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so let me start with a simpler, relatively simple martial classes, if you don't mind. Meanwhile, let me tell the spellcasters. Well, there's one spellcaster, actually. Let me think of how to proceed. Let's choose your subclass together. I think it's good for people to see what other people are doing in this part, even though it'll make it longer. How much time do people have?
Whole night.
I got plenty.
Yeah, I have the whole night till it's bright day.
I don't have
I have-
anything for Sunday, so
Yuki, what did you just say?
I have like the whole night, right? It's
Oh, okay.
11 p.m. or actually
All right.
close to midnight right now. And I have like the whole night.
All right. Okay, so let's start with the left. So the cleric, the most complicated one, the spellcaster. Okay, so, and also I get to show my screen. So you get, as a spellcaster, a deity, which we did. Your anathema, it says what happens when you break your anathema. Then you get divine spellcasting. You are a spellcaster in the sense how, remember I described how the wizard has to cross off a spell they cast on their list?
Mm-hmm.
Same
Right.
with you, except imagine the entire list of divine spells is your spell book. So you get to choose from all of the divine spells, and
Okay.
at the beginning of the day, you would say which ones you prepare, but you don't. You'd have to predict what you need for that day.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how that works. Divine font, we know that yours is the healing font, and this basically is a number of bonus spells. You get 1 plus your charisma modifier in free castings of heal. And the heal spell is awesome, and we're going to find out you can cast it 3 different ways depending on how the number of actions you spend on it. Then you get a doctrine. This is the I hesitate to say, well, it is a subclass, sure. You get to choose whether you're focused on spellcasting. The cloistered cleric is that they don't have any armor proficiencies. They don't get improvements in their martial ability, but their spellcasting goes up to legendary at level 19. Their spellcasting, the ability of enemies to resist or dodge your spell attacks scales better. For the war priest, it does not, but you are get proficiencies in martial prowess, and you also get the hold on. You get the shield block general feat. To help yourself remember, I would type that in on your table under general, next to general feats, in the general feats box. Shield block is great, and it lets you soak damage with your shield.
All right. So healing font would give me 4 heal spells per day. Now, if I'm understanding this correctly, we're looking at old school cleric type casting.
Mhm.
It looks like I start with 2 first level spells, and then I have 4 for my healing font,
Mhm.
4 cure spells. So really, the smart move would be to pick 2 spells that I think we're going to need for the day, not healing spells, because I have 4 in the bucket. If I think 4 is going to be enough. If I need more, then I would pick 2
Mhm.
healing spells on those 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to get to your spells after the other classes.
Right. No. I'm making sure I understand this. So
Yeah.
what I picked was which I actually had to pick healing font for Torag.
Mm-hmm.
I picked War Priest. The deity's favorite weapon was Warhammer.
And that's a martial
I have
weapon. That's a martial weapon, and you get to be proficient in it.
And then I have the deity, which we picked. I have the divine spell casting, which is what lets me cast spells. And then I have the shield block feat. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's your class stuff, and then you get to choose your spells and and equipment, and you would be done. But we're going to now move on to the Barbarian. Lem, you get to choose an instinct. Did you see the instincts yet?
I've seen some.
Okay.
I'm
The ones in the core rulebook are... Oh, there's a lot of chat. Huh. The ones in the core rulebook are Animal Instinct, which gives you an unarmed strike. And weapons have traits in this system that give them special abilities. Then there's the Dragon Instinct. You, at level 1, get bonus energy damage when you rage. You have the option of getting bonus energy damage when you rage. The Fury Instinct is the traditional Barbarian. You get a bonus first level Barbarian feat, and they have the best raging resistance at level 9. Everyone has resistance at level 9 to something, but you get against all physical weapon damage. Yeah. The Giant Instinct does the most damage, raw damage, but also has the biggest AC penalty when they rage. Each of these instincts also unlock feats that require that instinct. The Spirit Instinct is kind of spirit, well, of course, spirit themed, but you get to impose negative damage on living creatures or positive damage to undead creatures, I believe. And you get to things that are incorporeal, you have no problem with.
I hear about negative and positive. It sounds like something like necrotic damage and what's for light?
Radiant?
Radiant, there you go.
Yes.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's see. Damn, I kind of like the instinct flavor better than in D&D, where it's just fats. Let's see. Right now, I'm eyeing on either giant or dragon.
Yeah, and I'm going to say one thing. This has kind of been an unspoken thing. There are no... Well, in 5e and 1st edition Pathfinder and 3rd edition D&D, which 1st edition was based on, there were optimal ways to build your character. And you wanted to not fall behind. And you wanted to know what the masters knew if you were wanting to not fall behind. You generally don't have that problem in Pathfinder. You can... we had character creation, the ABCD steps. You can... what I like about it is that it melds... You can choose things based on your character concept and not sacrifice your power.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'll go with Dragon Instinct because I'm actually basing my character right now on Kain from Final Fantasy IV, which is a dragon. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'll go with it.
I'm disappointed. I was expecting you to swing a sword that's twice your size.
At level 1, we're not gonna... You won't get to actually be larger. So that part is not gonna happen anyway. But yeah, you could be a goblin with a large sword. Or large...
Oh.
I mean, that would be funny. That turns into a large creature when you enter your rage at higher levels.
Got goblin with a height inferiority complex.
Yeah. They were yeah, an
Raised by
inferiority
giants.
complex with results.
Yes.
People were laughing at me. That I'm small, and I will show them.
Yeah, you just swelled your head really big, got so angry.
That's where the clumsy condition comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Head too big.
Besides that, what the other things a barbarian gets is their key defining ability, rage.
Yes.
There's no limit on how many times you can rage per day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You get
That's a
you gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your constitution modifier. So it becomes an initial shield that soaks damage. This frenzy lasts for 1 minute until there are no enemies you can perceive or until you fall unconscious, whichever comes first. And you cannot voluntarily stop raging. So, and there's some drawbacks. Okay, first, you deal 2 additional damage on melee strikes. If you have an agile weapon like a dagger or a short sword, which is then it becomes half. You have a -1 penalty to AC, which remember -1 is like -2 in other systems. And you cannot do. Okay, this is going to sound like Martian to you guys, but basically, things that require you to concentrate you cannot do while raging. And strangely enough, that means not intimidating people, which is usually something you do by talking to them. Think of it as like an insult or something. However, there's a level 1 feat that lets you get around that problem.
I think I got that level 1 feat.
Oh, okay. All right, so it looks like you're already well on your way. And your level 1 feat is... oh, by the way, that rage, going into rage costs an action, which sometimes is an interesting choice in battle.
Makes sense.
And
I like it. Yeah.
The concentration thing is like in 5e Barbarians, while raging cannot concentrate or cast spells. It's basically that, but extended to some different things.
yes, nearly all spells require concentration. Have the concentrate trait. Concentration does not exist as a mechanic in 2e. You're not able to use things that say concentrate. So if something's like, I think feint says concentrate. I don't know, but the advantage of keywords is it becomes clear. The GM does not have to make a ruling on the spot whether you can do something. You can actually feint while in rage, so because it does not say concentrate. Okay. Okay, and he chose Raging Intimidation, which gives him the Intimidating Glare feat for free. It's a skill feat. Normally when you try to intimidate somebody, you have to share a language with them to avoid a -4 penalty on your check. With Intimidating Glare, he doesn't have to speak their language, so he can intimidate a bear.
All right, that's the one I pick.
Yeah.
Raging Intimidation.
Okay, and yes, there is a feat eventually that you can get called Scared to Death.
Scared to death.
Yeah. Okay. But
Is
you have
that-
to be...
Is that what I think it is?
It is what you think it is. But you have to be legendary. You have to get to the 4th level of the skill, which is not available until level 15. Okay, we're done with the barbarian stuff. Next is the champion.
Yes.
Champion's code. Okay, you have to follow the tenets of good. You must never perform acts anathema to your deity or willingly commit an evil act. There are evil champions, by the way, but they're not in the core rulebook, which, of course,
Yeah.
would follow different tenets, the tenets of bad.
Yeah, I saw them on the archives.
Okay. You must never knowingly harm an innocent or allow immediate harm to one through inaction when you know you could reasonably prevent it. This does not force you to take action against possible harm to innocents at an indefinite time in the future or to sacrifice your life. Okay. Then you choose a deity and cause. You're already choosing Torag, which what alignments does that allow? Because your alignment is actually going to determine your which ability you get as a champion.
I believe it's lawful or neutral good.
Yeah, if it's the same as the cleric, it's lawful good or lawful neutral.
Okay, you must be good to be a champion in the core rulebook. So you got to be lawful good, and that gives you these tenets. You must act with honor, never taking advantage of others, lying or cheating, and you must respect the lawful authority of legitimate leadership and follow its laws. So you get to decide, you and the GM decide what's legitimate. Deific weapon, you gain access to it even if it's uncommon.
So
And if it's a simple weapon, which are usually weaker, you get to make it do more damage.
okay, so the Warhammer from Torag it's martial, so I don't get the bonus.
Right. This has no mechanical effect because you're already doing well here. Okay, your reaction, if you're lawful good, is retributive strike. This symbol means reaction. You get one reaction per turn, just like D&D. And the trigger is defined as an enemy damages your ally, and both the enemy and your ally are within 15 feet of you. So if those are all met, you get to give your ally resistance to all damage against the triggering damage equal to 2 plus your level, so 3. And if the foe is within your reach, you get to make a melee strike against it. Okay. Sometimes things will cause... Let's say someone hits your ally with a flaming sword, doing 5 damage, slashing damage, and 3 fire damage. Resist all applies to each separately. So that's really good.
So would they get so at level 1 would they get 3 resistance to both slashing and fire, or would it be 3 resistance in total split among them?
To each separately. So you'll reduce the incoming damage by 6.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yep. Devotion spells. Nice. You get lay on hands. There's this mechanic called focus spells in Pathfinder. These are spells that kind of generally you can cast once per combat because they expend a focus point to cast them, and you get to rest for 10 minutes to get that focus point back. Lay on hands lets you heal somebody 6 hit points, and also they get a +2 bonus to AC for a round. And you can also use it to attack the undead since it's positive. It can do damage. Positive damage, yes. And debuff their AC. Okay, so that's good. You get a first level feat. We'll get to that. You get the shield block reaction that I explained earlier. So you also get to soak damage with that. And have you chosen a champion feat yet?
I have not yet.
Okay, you guys can talk while I do the bathroom.
Actually, okay.
Yeah, I thought the retributive strike was
the
one I was getting.
Razor Reprisal is good. Lets you as the same reaction that you do to the reduce the allies damage taken. You can also take a step if the enemy is within 5 feet outside of your reach. So if you're next to each other, and then enemy is using a spear or whatever, and they are further away.
Yeah.
You can take a step to them and smack them.
AFK a second, everybody. I think my dog is stuck.
All right.
I was actually going to ask Ronald whether paladins are locked to their weapons or the deity or not. Ah, there he is. I was
He
actually
was.
going to ask about paladin weapons, or champion weapons. Are they locked to the weapon of the deity, or can they, like, a paladin of champion of Thorak can, I don't know, use a longsword or whatever?
Um,
Or rather, do you
champions
get
are
any benefits for using the deity favorite weapon?
they can use any weapon, and they just have balancing things that help them with a weaker deity weapon, I believe. Also, the war priest gets to be an expert in their attacks at higher level. Yeah, but there's no like thou shalt fight with a sword kind of thing.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Have you chosen a
getting
feat?
weaker martial weapon, you don't need to use it.
I'll take Deity's Domain.
Oh, okay. I see. So this will give you a a domain spell. So a domain spell is a type of focus spell, and let's look at what Torag's domains are.
It's Creation, Earth, Family, and Protection.
Okay, when you click each one, it will tell you what its focus spell is, or domain spell actually. So why don't you work on that, and I'll move on to the next character. Next is
The Rouge.
oh I skipped to Lem. I see Lem is third earlier. Okay, Yuki is our rogue. Let's see what that gets. So you get a bunch of skills. Everybody, the rogue gets 7 plus their intelligence modifier,
And
2
actually,
free
any
skills on top of that.
yeah, it's 9 plus intelligence modifier. It's stupid.
Yeah,
Actually, you can get 10 plus intelligence if you pick the charisma one. I forget what it's called, because they get 2 skills. Scoundrel.
yeah, and they also get a skill feat at level 1, and every other class gets a skill feat every even level, but the rogue gets one at every level. Okay, so the rogue's racket, he already chose thief. Their special ability is that they get to add dex to damage if it's a dexterity weapon. Is that right? Or a light weapon?
Finesse or agile. Finesse or agile.
Yes, a dexterity weapon, yes. Okay. You get sneak attack. You get plus 1d6 damage when your target is flat-footed. So there's a lot of ways to get something flat-footed in this game. I made a video about it. Has anyone here seen the video?
I have not.
Okay, Yuki, I did a video where I sing a song
Oh no!
on how you make something
no.
on how you make something flat-footed. So it listed
There's like flanking, I assume. At least from first edition.
yeah.
There's like feint. I think you mentioned feint, but that's about.
I set it to the 12 days of Christmas. You know, on the 12th day of Christmas.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more. But additionally, when you're sneaking around in combat, if your initiatives beats your target, they're flat-footed to you, and that's true with. By the way, it's not as easy to make something that's at some distance away from you flat-footed. You usually have to actively do something. Okay.
It's actually like an interesting thing because a surprise attack makes it so if I roll stealth or deception for initiative, they are flat-footed. So until I increase my stealth to expert, I may be better just using perception. Actually, no, but if I had like lower dexterity, it would have been in theory better.
Yeah, but you might want to but you'd be missing out on making something flat-footed to you.
That's what I said. Like it
Yeah,
would be an interesting trade-off of either higher initiative or getting flat-footed, possibly.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody can sneak around and make something flat-footed to themselves under the normal ways you can sneak around. If they're not aware of you, then they're flat-footed. It's just that the rogue gets this extra damage, and they have an extra way to make something flat-footed. Okay, you get a feat at level 1. The martial classes get a bonus feat at level 1. The casters, they tend to get a something else. Okay. Did you choose a feat yet?
Well, I have 4 to pick from, so that's not really much. It's either Nimble Dodge, Trapfinder, Twin Feint, or You're Next. You're Next doesn't exactly seem like something that good. So I guess I don't really have much use for my reactions. Twin Feint sounds good.
Cool.
I have no idea how actually good it is.
So this is 2 attacks, spends 2 of your 3 actions, and the second attack treats them as flat-footed.
Yeah, so in theory I can, assuming I'm already in melee, I can do Feint, then Twin Strike, Twin Feint.
Meanwhile, if you were flanking the enemy, they would, the enemy would be flat-footed to both. Okay. Okay, good. Twin Feint. I think that is the. I think it's time to move on to equipment, and we're going to get to spells at the very end. So there are these cool class kits. If you're on Archives of Nethys, it's going to show you under when you go to the first those links that. Okay, let me just show it. For the Barbarian. At the very top of your class's page is going to say kits for your class. And there's an equipment kit, a suggestion of how to spend your money if you don't want to pour over the full list of stuff. And that's generally good advice. You start with 15 gold. And these same kits are in the PDF tubs. It's on page... Page 289. These are the kits for all the classes. And I'll say there's some if you're expecting traps, someone should get thieves tools, and whoever planned to be using medicine to heal should get healer's tools. Also, every class is proficient with shields, and can vastly improve their survivability if they have a free hand to wield it. But it costs an action to raise your shield.
What were those the healing ones called?
Healer's tools and cost 5 gold.
Healer's tools, right there.
Yeah. Also, if anyone has Brent, did you choose a domain yet?
Yes, I chose protection, which gives me Protector's Sacrifice.
Okay. All right, so I believe that gives you a second focus point, because whenever you gain a focus point, anyway, so you can cast Lay on Hands twice, or cast this Protector's Sacrifice twice.
Okay.
Oh, but you can only get 1 back. You cannot go back to 2 focus points total, if that makes sense.
Not really.
Let's put it this way: you can only cast one per battle.
Mhm.
But if you really need to, you can go down to 0 focus points, but you can only get 1 back.
So I only get
for the
okay,
day.
yeah.
Deity's domain doesn't give you focus point.
So at the start of the day, I have 2. After a fight, if I use 1, I'll go back to 2. If there's another fight and I use 1, I'll stay at 1.
If you use 2, you go down to 0 and can only recover up to 1.
I can't recover back to 2.
That day, yes.
Okay, but at the start of the day, I'll always get 2.
Yes. And there's a high level feat that can, improve that.
All right.
Okay, protect your sacrifice. Cool. That's like Champion's Reaction more, kind of. It's more noble. Well, not noble, but it's more. Okay. I've been reading threads about this, chat. I'm pretty sure Deity's domain just does not. It's written poorly, but I'm pretty sure it gives you a second focus point. Domain initiate. Huh. I guess it doesn't. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, certain feats give you more focus spells and increase the size of your focus pool.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, this recent thread said GM debate. Oh no.
Oh no, it's 5 all over again.
I know.
Oh.
This does not happen that often.
Here we go.
Okay, is Swing Whipper here? He would know.
Swing Whipper was in chat earlier. Come on, Swing. Let's hear it.
Oh no, Ghost Yuki says gray area.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh god. Okay, whatever. It's not going to affect your choice. We'll move on and get the answer from chat. But there is an answer out there.
I just need to... I'll be right back in 1 second.
All right. We were working on equipment. Are people chugging along? No questions?
I am.
Picking a skill feat.
Equipment is actually very easy to buy in Path Builder. This is nice.
Yeah,
I looked at the suggestion and I've just been like, add gear. This is really simple.
It's like a candy store. Okay, Yuki, it has been raised, and I'm gonna endorse this suggestion that there's a very good skill feat that lets you heal in combat called Battle Medicine, and that could bring somebody up from 0. It's pretty. Level 1 is the hardest of the levels in terms of survivability, and that would, if that's not against your character concept, it has my endorsement.
I guess I can go for the backstreet surgeon, like the shady medic.
Yeah.
Just as likely to kill you as to heal you.
It does involve a skill check. If you dumped wisdom, it would make it less successful.
I have +4 to medicine.
Okay, well, that's all right, and it's okay.
So I'm gonna pick Battle Medicine, I guess.
Yeah, you have to get a 15 to succeed, basically. So that would make it a 50-50 success.
I have 55% chance to fail.
50, because of but yeah, 50-50.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, let me know when you guys, if you're done with your equipment. Let me know.
Well, let's see. I got a weapon. I got a backup weapon. I got a slight ranged weapon. I got hide and a steel shield. I got a backpack. I got the healer's tools as you suggested.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up everything listed on their cleric, so I got some caltrops and a wooden holy symbol. My backpack has a bunch of goods in it. I think I'm good.
Cool.
And I have money left over.
Flame Note mentions that if I plan to dual wield, I shouldn't take battle medicine, and I kind of want to do it with a dual thing.
Oh, you need a free hand for battle medicine. It takes an action to stow away something. Well, the technical term is okay. Let's to sheath a weapon, and the reverse is true too. So that's something to consider. But on the other hand, healing can be like the cleric might go down, you know? Oh, and you can also buy healing potions for 3 gold, everybody.
Guess how much money I have left over, sir? Not 3 gold anymore.
Okay. And
Oh Lord.
this is well, yes, the cleric should have one too, because if the cleric gets knocked out, they can grab it and chuck it down your throat.
I do not. What are they called? Because I do not see that under H for healing potion.
Potion of healing?
Let's go down to the P's.
Yeah.
Nope, it's not in P's. The only P is a Python.
Oh, healing potion. Healing potion is 4 gold.
I do not have enough.
Yeah, there's something called Elixir of Life that heals 1 to 6. Folks, in the PDF, there's this handy, low-level items that's on the shared screen that you might want to consider. Some bombs, anti-plague, antidote, Elixir of Life for 3 gold, smoke stick for 3 gold, a scroll for 4 gold. Oh, you can't. The spellcaster can't afford that.
So,
yeah.
Is currency conversion 1 to 10 gold to silver?
Yep.
Okay.
I do have some caltrops. That was one of the things listed under cleric, so I picked up some caltrops.
Cool. Any other pitfalls with equipment? I'm trying to remember. If anyone wants to repair their shield, if anyone's going to be soaking damage with their shield, someone should have a repair kit.
All right.
Oh, yes, I should probably grab that then.
And crafting helps with repairing your shield.
Yes. Outstanding. Ooh, repair kits are 2 gold.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking at.
Go ahead, sir.
Are you?
Oh,
All
go
right,
ahead.
sure. I'm looking at some of the weapons here, and I see like a bunch of traits like swift, forceful, versatile, versatile.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Weapons. Let me explain these traits. So, let's take some classic weapons, like the longsword. If you, let me share my screen here. Or share both pages. So, it's maybe too small. Okay, longsword does 1d8 slashing damage. It has the versatile piercing trait. So when you attack with it, you can choose to do piercing damage instead. So you get a choice. The Great Axe is a 2-handed weapon. It does 1d12 slashing damage, and it has the sweep trait. That means that when you attacked something previously that turn with that weapon, you get a +1 circumstance bonus in attacking a different creature if you've attacked something else earlier that turn with it. So it makes your follow-up attacks more accurate. There's a lot of traits. This is like the descriptions of them. Are there specific ones you want to know more about?
I think I'll just have to learn that by myself, but it's actually really cool to like like different weapons having their own traits. Like
Mhm.
some can be used for slashing damage, some you can sweep, some you can be forceful with, some is deadly, and that's really cool for like marshals to have a bunch more options in their plate
Yeah.
Yeah,
when it comes
pretty
to
much
their arsenal.
the 5e problem of having two weapons that are good and the rest are useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also have part of a group. If you're a martial character, and maybe the war priest gets this set with their deity's weapon at higher level, but you get a special effect when you critically hit with it.
Special effect.
So with a sword, the target, if you critically hit somebody with your sword, they become flat-footed until the start of your next turn. Now, this is not true at level 1, though. This is something that marshals get at like level 5 usually.
Still pretty far away.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
and
really cool.
so it gives a different, that gives it that. So they essentially, that's like another trait. So it's not just your, what's your weapon die and how many hands. Okay. Who's done with their equipment?
I believe I'm done.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question about equipment. So,
Yeah.
is there a number of uses on a repair kit, or is it like a one-time use thing?
Unlimited.
Okay, so as long as somebody has a repair kit, they could fix my shield after a fight.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm picking up a repair kit. So
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to make sure. Then I'll get an elixir of life, the minor elixir of life, for 3 gold, because that's my last 3 gold, and we'll have an oh crap button.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. With a little instruction, every language written on it, feed me.
In case of broken cleric, break glass. Then you pour it down the throat.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Okay. You know what? While people are doing equipment, I'd like to talk to. Wait, where are you at with your equipment, Tubbs?
I'm good. I have 9 copper left, sir. I have
Okay,
a
good.
backpack, elixir of life minor, holy symbol, caltrops, healer's tools. I think I got everything covered. I even
All right.
bought a weapon and armor and a shield. So
Okay, so we're gonna do the extra Tubbs step, which is spells. You can choose different spells every day, and let's. Here we go. Come on. Okay, I should zoom in. Okay, so this is something different from 5e. When you choose your cantrips, because you can prepare your spells every morning, you can choose different cantrips every morning. So on a typical adventuring day, you'll get to choose 5 of these. So this, let me zoom in. Can you read them?
Yep.
Okay.
I've looked through the PDF and I have picked the 5 that I want. And I'm pretty sure if I read them out loud, chat will tell me I'm wrong. But that's okay.
We're not going to read them out loud. And one thing, though, is for survivability, you may want to consider... Wait, do you have at least one way to attack?
I picked guidance, shield, and I'm going to start reading to you. Guidance, shield, detect, magic, prestidigitation, and daze.
Okay. Good. And then first level spells, did you choose them?
I did. I went with Bless to give the party a buff, and then I went with Bane, because after I cast Bless, I can then, in the next fight if needed, give the enemies a negative.
Okay. And
you said your quote is every +1 matters.
Okay. I will
If you have a suggestion, please.
There is an unbalanced spell that I think is on purpose to help low level parties that I will notify you about. I think every caster who has access to this should know about it. But magic weapon can be quite good. It basically buffs somebody's weapon to the equivalent of a 4th level weapon for the combat. So gives them +1 to all of their attacks and an extra damage die.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if someone
Well, we just
has,
swapped
a great axe, they'll be doing 2d12 damage, for example.
Ooh.
And that is something, I think
And
every one who has access to it's called magic weapon, and if not, get a scroll of it.
that's level 1 as well, right?
Yeah, it's a 1st level spell.
All right, well,
Damn.
I now have bless and magic weapon.
Great. All right, good. That was spells. We're just finishing up equipment. And the next thing I'm going to go through, I think the last thing to go over is, for character creation, is the proficiencies, how those work. Yeah, Ghost Yuki. He plans to be in the front lines. Tubbs will be in the front lines. Someone was pointing out that the Bless spell has a small radius. Something cool about it, though, Tubbs, is that every round you get to spend an action to increase its radius by 5 feet. So if you have like a really long, drawn-out battle, it can cover a huge area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Telling you, this is sounding better and better than 5th Ed.
Yeah.
Digging it.
Tell me about it.
Like,
I
it's
need to be back for a moment.
So far, I'm really liking the options.
Yeah, we haven't even really gone deep into the options. Like,
Yeah, this is first
this has
level
been
stuff.
basic, like core rulebook, basic. You guys have basic characters, really. So I wanted to, before we end today, just go a little more into what you can look forward to with characters. So that's going to be the final part of the day. The core math of the game. I want to go over that. Okay, we're going to have a little technical lesson, but it's going to be give great dividends, I think. Okay. So, something in... Wait, is everyone done with equipment? And
Yes,
I'll
I
wait
am
for
done with
Yuki to get back.
Actually, yeah. And while Yugi's gone, I'm gonna run away too, so
Okay.
that way we don't have to double wait.
Yep.
Not completely, because I still have 8 gold I'm not sure what to do with.
Yes, chat's asking, should you share character ideas you have to show how crazy it can get? Yes. I was actually thinking one idea, Brent, if you wanted to be have a gun, was to be choose that ranged reprisal level 1 feat, so that and you can shoot people
Yeah, I
who
saw
hit your
that.
friends.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to use as a gun idea with this character, but
Yeah. Okay.
in the future, yeah.
Well, see, if this was a long-term game, that would be something like you could build up to as like an offhand weapon. So you like hit a guy in the face and then you shoot the guy across the field.
Mhm.
You
It
know?
could be a ranged weapon, ranged option.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is really cool, Ron. I'm digging this. I'm digging how detailed this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now all those vague questions from Swing Ripper now make sense.
Mhm. Good. Have you guys asked me all the questions you have? Just want to make
I
sure
still have-
nothing is that you feel comfortable asking all your questions.
I feel pretty good. It's all kind of making sense. It's one of those things that you got to do it a couple of times, and then it starts clicking.
Haha.
But yeah, I
Oh,
think it. I like how stats work. 100%, so much cooler for stats to work this way than a standard array or a point buy or rolling. This is just really cool. It's like, hey, your background, literally how you were raised, builds your character.
And what is you're in a campaign that Swing Whipper's running, Tubbs? What's your character idea?
So all I have is an idea because to prep for today, we kept it. I stayed
Yeah.
out of character creation. So I am playing a clockwork bard, which is why I didn't want to do a bard here. Who doesn't know if he is alive and if he has a soul, and so that's what his exploration into the world is. Asp wants to know is what makes things alive, what makes things sentient, and what makes things alive, because all three of those could be different. And he is all I know is he is a bard. The rest will be revealed to me as I finish up the character creation, probably this afternoon with
Cool.
Swing Ripper.
And Swing Whipper might tell us more about how that idea is implemented.
So
My little indicator of what step we're at, I forgot about, but I think everyone followed along.
What do you want me to tell you more about it?
Oh,
And
here's Swing Ripper.
he's like Beetlejuice, but you just say his name one time and
Yeah. He is like Beetlejuice for Discord. Swing Ripper, Swing Ripper, Swing Ripper.
it's like slides in. He's like,
Oh, wait,
"I've heard
wait.
my name."
Sorry. Oh, you messed up everyone's camera, but speak briefly and then get out of here.
Okay, so, well, I decided that it was going to be a puppet bard because I am allowing rare ancestries because I'm the DM and I get to say what is allowed. So I'm gonna have rare stuff involved.
Wait, are we just hopping in now?
I'm hopping in to explain a thing because I end up building a character for Lord Tub Tub, and I'm just going to quickly explain it. And
Alright.
because Lord Tub Tub explicitly requested, I don't really want to roll dice because my luck is garbage. And one, to be a healer, I then spec into medicine, medic archetype, going into assurance medicines. That way you never have to roll dice to actually heal people because you just automatically succeed all your medicine checks, and it's all good on that front. So all the healing is there. And then focusing on buff spells and debuff spells, which also really works for a bard. So it's a lot of weird things that all come together to build the concept out from a mechanical level.
Assurance is a skill feat that lets you get a guaranteed result. You don't have to roll on your skill check. It's below average, but sometimes that's exactly what you want.
Yep. And I did the math on it. And at level 2, when you'll be having the medic archetype, you can then be healing everybody without rolling. Does not matter at that point. You'll never need to roll for medicine again starting level 2.
Nice.
That's exactly what I wanted because I roll bad.
Okay. All right. Yuki's
you,
back.
sir.
All right, Swing Whipper, I need you to log out to restore our cameras. Thank you.
Okay. See ya.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna. Are you done with equipment, Yuki?
Just about.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Oh, there's been some people sharing their crazy character ideas to give an idea of what you can do in Pathfinder.
And I've
Flame
been
Loud
reading them, and it's
says
just
a fire-resistant goblin druid, wildfire wild order alchemist can throw bombs, fire, and make healing elixirs by level 4. Yep.
Yeah, I've read up on goblins a bit, and they have some crazy things. They can like set themselves on fire.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, there's a feat to set yourself on fire, I think.
Yeah.
There's also a feat where, okay, if you can look at my camera, there's a feat where you can like land at great distances and not take damage or something, and then you can like jump up at a lower height and then repeatedly do things at successfully lower heights.
So you get like rubber ball.
What made
Or
this
you can when you get hit, you can use reaction to get moved by the momentum of the head, and then reduce the damage to like minimum. And if it's a crit, you don't take double damage from that.
Oh
wow.
But it's like specific to heritage, to like certain type of them.
One of my middle schoolers, he was having some bad luck that day, and he was critted and knocked out, and he was the healer. But he was a kobold who had the level 1 feat called Cringe, which makes you look pathetic to your enemy and makes them feel sorry for you, so that they do less damage on a critical hit. And it made them stay on their feet.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, the feat that I was describing for the goblin is called the Unbreakable Lure Goblin.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain how the main everything uses the same math in Pathfinder, which makes improvising as a GM really simple because everything's based on the same math. So if you want to jump onto horse, the enemy's horse and ride, attack them on their horse, you can be like, oh, do a nature check or athletics check to jump on and compare it to their nature DC, which is the skill to maneuver an animal, nature. And it's calculated just like perception DC. I don't know if that was too fast for folks, but basically everything's on the same math and it's predictable and allows for improv. But okay, and this is what a check consists of. You roll a d20 and you add your ability modifier, one of your 6 scores, and then bonuses. And two things can give circumstance bonuses, but you only use the greatest one. There's a few types. Circumstance bonuses are from situations, like a circumstance penalty to AC when something is flat-footed is an example. Circumstances are situations. Status is usually from a spell. Items are obviously from items. Okay? So it's usually predictable. Like if someone says, I cast Bless, you kind of know that the Bard Inspiring Courage is not going to stack with that because those are both spell effects. Okay. Now, proficiency bonus is what I want to go over. When you're untrained in something in 5e, you just can't wheel it, I believe. I don't know what the rule is actually. Or do you have disadvantage?
You
I
have
believe,
You just don't
I
have
believe you
proficiency
can
bonus.
still wield it, you just don't get a proficiency bonus from it.
Oh yeah, you don't
Yeah.
get the proficiency bonus. Okay, here
So you basically don't use it because you're very unlikely to use it to be able to do it.
this works the same way, actually. You just don't get the proficiency bonus. But the proficiency bonus can be quite large as you level up because look at this chart. Your proficiency bonus is 0 when you're untrained in something. And when you're trained, it is your level plus 2. So, if we had a physical sheet right now, you would know that every skill you have and all your weapon attacks have a box to insert your proficiency bonus on that particular thing. This is true with everything. Skills, saving throws, weapon attacks, also spell attacks. Remember, Tubbs was trained in divine spell attacks. Then as you level up, this increases. So when you're level 10, this bonus will be 12. So you'll become your bonus will be much higher in your skills automatically if you are at least trained in it. Additionally, if you increase your level of proficiency, this bonus increases also. So you see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was my lesson. So this is if you had a physical sheet, you'd be filling out right now all of your bonuses. So let's just take Brent wanted to intimidate people. No. Lem wanted to intimidate people. So his bonus will be +5 because he has a +2 charisma. And his proficiency bonus will be trained. Some of you are expert in something. So I believe Yuki is an expert in perception.
Yep.
Okay. And some of you are expert in some of your saving throws. So your proficiency bonus will be 5 in that. So you'll get to, I think, Lord Tub, his saving throw on will saves is 9 right now. Did everyone follow?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I really like this because it has your level only has the bearing on the front end of the bonus. The back end of the bonus, you get an extra bonus for just being better at the skill. So
Yeah.
again, I think Yuki said it earlier. The sheer differences and how the skills stack and everything. This is really cool. Like it really it makes you want to push your character to do different things. This is really neat.
Yeah, in 5e, you basically, if you're not proficient in something, you don't do that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Once you're proficient,
Yeah,
it's,
and
it's the end of the story.
If you have a wizard in your party who's proficient in like intelligence skills, no one else uses intelligence skills whatsoever.
Yep.
If you have someone with perception, they are always rolling perception, no one else. And maybe someone like helps them, uses help action to give them advantage, but that's about it.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Barbarian always, usually, Barbarian like strength fighters, proficient in athletics, only they are the only people who do anything athletics related.
I'm going to make a few points about characters now. So, as you level up, you get to add feats at every level. So, and sometimes these feats, a lot of them don't give you like just a +1 in something. They sometimes give you new actions you can do. So you start to have more and more things you're able to do. You also get a feat from your class at every even level. At every even level, you get a class feat and a skill feat. And then at third level and every 4 levels after, you get a general feat, which can also be one of the general skill feats, so something skill focused. And then you also every class has their own special things. You get a special ability from the War Priest Doctrine tubs. So at third level, you become proficient with all martial weapons.
Ooh.
Okay. Also, at every odd numbered level, you get to increase one of your skills proficiency level. So everybody here can become an expert in one of the skills that they're trained in. And at 5th level, another increase. But you cannot increase that same skill to master the next level because you have to be 7th level to make something master. What this means is that actually you don't hyper focus. It forces you can be expert in two skills and then move on to improving something to master later. To make something legendary, you have to be 15th level.
Oh.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those skill increases, they don't let you train in something new, they just let you become expert.
No, you can spend them on like getting trained again.
You can become trained also in something.
Okay.
And
But if you're like not trained in them, you don't get expertise. They don't get expert automatically because you're level 5.
Yeah.
at 5th level, you get another Ancestry feat, and that you get a new one every 4 levels. And at 5th level, 10th level, 15th level, 20th level, you get ability boosts. And in the write-up for each class, there are more features you get. You get a lot of the core math of your class, like getting better for martials, getting better with your weapons, are a fixed track. You have no choice in the matter. But that means you don't have to make mandatory choices. You're freed up to choose feats based on. Anyway, you don't have to worry about increasing your sheer numbers with feats. You get to choose them based on whether they're interesting. And at every even level, you get a class feat. And you can, instead of getting a class feat, you get to get abilities from a different class by starting an archetype. So you get to gain abilities of an alchemist at level 2. If you decide not to have a class feat, you get to choose the alchemist dedication, which gives you abilities and then unlocks more feats for you. All of them have a level requirement. And you can have more than one archetype. As long as you take 3 feats from your first archetype, you can then, go into Barbarian. After that, you can just mix and match. And multi-class archetypes sometimes have a requirement. You have to meet the requirements. On top of that, with the second book that Pathfinder came out, the second main book, the Advanced Player's Guide, there's a lot of archetypes that are not tied to a specific class. So we have these archetypes that were added. There's the Acrobat, Martial Artist. You get to be good at hand-to-hand fighting. What else? The Marshal, who's like a commander on the battlefield. The Vigilante, someone with a secret identity like Batman. A Poisoner. You get to brew and add poisons to your weapons. So there's just there's like a tree of ever-expanding options as you level up. And we're not going to do this, but the most popular variant rule from the Game Mastery Guide is called Free Archetype, where every time you get a class feat, you additionally have a bonus feat that can only be spent on archetype feats. So that's what progression looks like in the game. We're going to go into actual gameplay next time. All right, so people, talk about everything you'd like. Our audience of 35 people wants to know what you think so far.
Honestly, I am speechless. There's a lot of options that you can just mix and match whatever character you want. I can basically use this character option just for making character concept because I'm mostly an artist myself as well. And this will if I have a concept in mind, maybe there's something like a feat, like a feat that you can find in Pathfinder that it seems like this fits in my character, and that's really awesome. In contrast to 5e, once you're done with your class and your subclass, you're pretty much done with your character.
Yeah, and from the GM and also the players care about this too. You can actually do high levels, and the game continues to work. Things don't get trivialized by a single roll, and it's still easy for the GM to balance encounters to the exact difficulty level they want.
If Frederick mentioned analysis paralysis, it's absolutely a thing. Or I don't know if that's a common thing, but changing what you want to do. As in, I played a little bit with Puff Builder, and I have 30 characters. A level 1 because I want to be Magus today. No, I'm gonna be a fighter.
Great. Yeah. Any specific things you saw today that were a surprise, or?
I mean, all of it's a surprise. The volume. So I will say the one criticism I have is the volume of choices. I think as an experienced person, I've been gaming forever, right? I'm clicking through the path builder, and I'm like, okay, I see, okay, you know what? Okay, I see how this stacks. And then I was like, why are my stats so low? And then you were like, each one's worth 2, you idiot. And I'm like, oh, suddenly it all made sense, right? So the sheer volume of choices I would think would be very difficult for new, and when I say new players, I don't mean new to the system. I think all of us here are tenured players, so we kind of picked it up quick. But 7 years ago, when I met my wife, she had never gamed because she had one of those stupid boyfriends prior who was like, girls don't game. right? And I was like, you need to learn how to game because we got a game tomorrow, you know. And even fifth ed was overwhelming for a brand new, never TTPRG'd ever, and it was rough. But I love this customization. There is, as a tenured player, there is so much where you're like, I want to play a guy who does a thing and a thing, and you're like, all right, cool, we can do exactly that. Like, I'm very much like Yuki. If I'm playing the party healer, I want to be a good healer. If I'm playing the party fighter, I want to be a good fighter. And a lot of other systems will give you garbage skills, garbage feats, garbage things where it's like you made wrong choices, right? I literally Mage the Ascension. If anybody's ever played Mage the Ascension from the 90s, I literally made a wizard, got to the first game session, and the GM was like, roll this, and I was like, I don't have any points in that. He goes, then you can't cast spells. The game literally lets you build a mage that can't cast spells in a game of mage. So this is nice. It's like there's no wrong choices, right? There's like, what do you want to do? And you could be better based on the tree that you go down. So
yeah, you mentioned like bad choices. 5e is notorious for having like 8 feats that work and no other feat works. Like, sure, I could pick chef. They added in
That's always the one to mention.
I can add a chef, or I can pick I don't know, any other feat that does something good. And especially since you
Great weapon master.
You spend your ASI on that.
Yeah.
So it is a substantial choice. You either lose +1 to attack, +1 to damage, which is like math, so I can like do it on napkin, and get like a substantial thing. I don't know, Polar Master, add additional attack per turn, or Great Weapon Master. I hit harder. Or I can pick Chef or Poisoner, which are basically useless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it sucks when, your character finally comes online at 8th level, but many campaigns don't go much beyond 10th. And
which is also an issue with multiclassing in 5e. Basically, outside of like a few cases in 5e, multiclassing is usually a noob trap, where you don't really like new players shouldn't really multiclass because the multiclassing works differently than in 2e. And where you basically stop your progression in your main class and pick a different class and progress in that one. So let's say you're a level 4 fighter and then you want to, I don't know, go into Barbarian because you want to be, I don't know, a Hulk or whatever and like be mad, and you just lost your extra attack.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing I like with Pathfinder is that multiclassing actually works here. You don't have to sacrifice anything from your class features. Just get the archetype, and then you're still as effective as any single class you got, as opposed to like 5e where you sacrifice a bunch of stuff like being a martial, for example. You want to get some spellcasting abilities, then get some spellcasting multiclassing, but you're gonna sacrifice your extra attack or like your extra feats that will be probably useful in the future. I don't like
an issue just like with feats. Most multiclassing doesn't work, but there are some that are broken.
Yeah.
Hexblade Warlock Sorcerer.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me started.
Hexblade Warlock Paladin, Hexblade Warlock, anything else.
Just Hexblade Warlock.
Yeah.
Just Hexblade Warlock in general.
So multiclassing in 5th ed is so bad. We started during the playtest when they first were releasing the playtest materials. My table, we switched from a system called Talislanta. We were just using the system, not the world. We switched from that immediately to the playtest material. My group of players, we've known each other for decades, right? Like, my wife at 7 years is the new person at the table, right? I've been gaming with friends since 91, 94. We've gamed for years together, right? So I know my table, right? I'm lucky in that. I know my table. I know who Dwayne's gonna play. I know who Wayne's gonna play. I know, right? I know what type of character you're looking for, what you're looking out of a character. Nobody, I think maybe once, nobody has multi-classed in 5th edition, and I ran it from the pre-beta stuff through November 2019, and everybody was like, "This is stupid," and I'm like, "I know, maybe I'm reading the rules wrong," and they're like, "I don't know, that's how I read it too. You just stop being good at being a wizard and try and feeble your way through like how to be a fighter." So like nobody, like I eventually just made a rule when we would add new players. I'm like, there's no multi-classing in my world. And they're like, well, why? I was like, well, one, it's a rule that I made because it sucks in 5th edition. And I could tell you mechanically why it sucks, so you could just trust me as a new player that it sucks. And they're like, gotcha. And yeah, like I just took it out of the game because it was just easier than letting people make a bad choice.
With 5e, there's also a thing where optimize like characters that are built quote unquote properly are so much stronger than characters that are not. Because and the system assumes that you're not built properly, quote unquote properly, obviously. So because it's not really like the nicest way to put it, but they assume lowest common denominator. So they assume that the first player who plays first time won't like die, and then the combat is swingy. And if players know like a little, at least a little thing about like optimizing characters, like I don't know, if I want to go melee, I should probably pick up Polearm Master. I should probably pick up Great Weapon Master. And if you have those two things, the combat just becomes a walk in the park. Like I had a situation where we were fighting a deadly encounter. I was playing my Articron, which is Artificer 1 Wizard 19. Obviously, it wasn't 19, level 20, because 5e. So we were like level 7 or something. And I just casted one spell and broke the encounter. Because I casted Hypnotic Pattern on like 3 enemies and they couldn't do anything, and my party was just ganging up.
Isn't that a first level spell?
It's a 3rd level spell.
Oh, yeah. 3rd.
It's a 3rd level spell.
Yeah. Wisdom saving throw on fail. You're charmed, and if you're charmed, you cannot. You're also incapacitated.
Oh dear lord, the martial caster disparity in 5e is.
Yeah. I just don't play martials anymore in 5e.
And you know what's funny? I'm sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say something else. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and one of the funny things for all the hate that 4th edition gets, it's actually super balanced. If you look at it, granted, it's a lot of like very similar things, but it's very balanced. At no point do your fighters ever get like in 3rd edition. You could have a fighter, and by like 12th level, you don't even need to show up for the fight. Like the cleric and the wizard step forward and mow everything down, and then it just gets worse as you stack up. For as much hate as 4th edition gets, it actually is a relatively balanced game. Everything mechanically at 12th level, nobody really overshadows anybody else, and everybody gets some like cool little side things to do. So,
in 5e, basically after level 1, levels 1-3 maybe casters struggle, and even then, if you pick good spells, you don't, because the wizard can. Oh no, there's 10 goblins. 10 goblins. Let me just cast sleep and put 5 of them to sleep, and they won't do anything. I just trivialize the encounter, and then another wizard goes, another sleep, and then we just kill them one by one. And then at level 3 you just become God Among Men, because you just it goes to the point where at level 5 first level slots are basically shield slots, because you don't use the spells don't really scale, and shield is so good in 5e.
I wanted to Tubbs had talked about the being overwhelmed by choices. The core rulebook first of all, Path Builder and Wanderer's Guide are really good if you narrow it down to core rulebook choices, and it's kind of like you just have a set of menus and with like a list, except for backgrounds, which is purely, I mean, you don't have many. You don't have more than 5 or 6 choices at each step, and there are also little example builds in the core rulebook that are also in Archives of Nethys. It's like sample builds, they're called, at the top of the screen, where it just tells you, okay, if you want to be an animal barbarian with animal instinct, here's what you can do. And it, tells, anyway, it could be really, if someone's working one-on-one with somebody, it can be really straightforward. And just want to say that. And also, a lot of I think this is only half the picture. There's the actual gameplay, and which we
so
will
everything
see.
looks good on paper. We'll come see how it works in actual
Yeah,
game.
and I think people, have a lot more to say after next week's session.
Oh yeah.
Any last words from anybody about anything?
I just had a quick question with the weapons on the attacks on the sheet here. It has like 3 different things for accuracy and 1 for crit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what goes there?
Okay, there are 3 spaces for. Let me pull it up. For accuracy.
Was that for multi-attack? Or...
Accuracy,
Yeah,
damage, crit,
multiple attack penalty.
Okay.
So if you are swinging your warhammer and you have a +7 bonus, your second attack in that same turn would be 5 less, and your third attack would be 10 less.
Asterisks.
And then
The exception is if something
Agile weapons.
has the agile trait, which makes them good offhand weapons. You get to have, for example, let's say you have the rapier, which has, let's say the rogue has a rapier and a short sword in the second hand. They can attack with the rapier with a +7 bonus, and then on their second attack, they can attack with the rapier at a +2, or they can use their short sword, which has the agile trait, so its bonus will be +3.
yeah. And then I assume the accuracy is just proficiency plus your strength or whatever.
Yeah, your ability modifier plus proficiency modifier is what you use on basically almost all checks and DCs in this game.
That's what I
So
figured.
melee attack would be strength plus proficiency modifier. I actually don't know what it says on a crit. Yeah, most character sheets don't do this, but by rule, you just get double damage on a crit.
Okay.
However,
so is that an additional damage die?
Yeah, unlike in 5e, you actually double modifiers.
yeah, you double the modifier too.
Oh.
But
That's
I assume that the crit on the sheet means like deadly d12 or whatever, where you just change your weapons.
Yeah, what some weapons have the deadly trait. So the rapier does 1d6 damage, and Yuki, when he crits, he's gonna do when he hits, he does 1d6 plus 4 damage. When he crits, that gets doubled, and because it has a deadly d8 trait, he also adds a d8 die to the total.
It's kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
So it really incentivizes getting that +10, 10 past the target number.
Mm-hmm.
So
there are also like weapons which like completely change weapon dice on crits.
yes, that would be the pick, which has the
I've
fatal
heard
trait.
I've heard the tale of Great Pick.
Yeah, the fatal trait is like deadly, except it modifies the original die as well. So
Nice.
if you're like me, I like double the dice. I like to double the dice. That is an allowed option, official option in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I like dice. So 1d6. If that person crits, they'll be rolling 5d10.
5?
Yeah.
5d10.
Yep.
Oh, because it increases it and adds 1?
Yes, fatal, like deadly, adds that additional die. Yep.
It's brutal.
But you can see like balance wise it's weighted more heavily. For example, it has the pick has only fatal, but Rapier had deadly d8 plus parry, I think, and something else.
Yeah.
The sample.
And if Tubbs casts magic weapon on this person,
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
That's fucking
it would be Oh no, I'm sorry. I misspoke. This would be 3d10. 5d10 was the if magic weapon was on them. Sorry.
Still,
That's still
That's a
30 to
lot.
50 damage.
It's only
max.
5d10.
That was just the damage of like
Yeah.
level 7 D&D fighter.
Yeah. And then of course you get to weapons that when you get to higher levels, you get to access
Runes.
higher level runes. So
Oh, what is this?
the
oh dear.
19th level rune, is Major Striking, which adds 3 additional dice. No, it deals 4 weapon damage dice. So our great pick at level 19 would do 9d10, plus double your
Cool.
strength bonus. And then if you're a barbarian with a rage bonus to damage,
God.
you can see
then
how they've buffed marshals.
And then you are
Here's the thing.
I like it. I love it.
I want to say this. Right? We're all like, dude, that's a lot of dice. The monsters are designed to
Yeah.
eat that dice. So, when Lem is like, take 86 damage, Ron's going to be like, yeah, it laughs at you, picks you up, and throws you off the top of the mountain. So just remember, like, that's 19th level monster. It's punching back just as hard. It's hitting you guys, and like Yuki hits Yuki once, and Yuki's like, I have 3 hit points.
Let's go brrr.
All right. I'd like to ask that it would. I'll check my schedule, but I would like more space for the adventure to have 2 sessions.
Sure.
Any objection?
Sure.
No.
No.
Okay. Then we might have to finagle scheduling, but what was I going to say? Oh, I just request that people don't watch Pathfinder content. I want to see how people react to things, because that's what the audience wants to see too. So,
Yep.
all right, that's it. So you're this jury is now sequestered. This jury on Pathfinder, and any final word from anybody?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this, not just for us, because I think we're all having a blast thus far,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
but for doing this for the newer players. Because this is a video. Had you had this video when I watched 2 of your videos about Pathfinder, I would have watched this one first, because it makes sense. Let's watch this before I watch the thing you did about the Alchemist. The Alchemist video would have made a heck of a lot more sense after watching this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. There's nobody else. We will end. We will adjourn. I will let's shoot for next Saturday. I'll get back to people about that.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
Looking forward
All
to
right.
it.
I had fun, and if chat closes, leave comments. I will see you all later. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep.
Farewell.